We are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sunday. It is Sunday. It is Some Other Heroes Day. Welcome to back to the Scattered Lands on our continuing adventures with this trio of lovely people and me, your resident DM. My name is Chris. I am a geek and illustrator. I use the pronouns he, him. You can generally find me bombing around the internet, talking nerdy stuff and putting up pretty pictures because it's what I do. With me are three wonderful people who shall all introduce themselves, and today I'm going to start with Wayne.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I am Wayne. I am a creative director and branding coach and a coffee addict. My pronouns are he, him, and I shall be playing the dainty and polite dragonborn Rock.
Fantastic. And Theo, would you like to go next, please?
Hello, I'm Theo. I'm an illustrator. I use they, them pronouns, and I will be playing the awkward half-elf wizard, Eugene.
Amazing. And last but never least, our wonderful Charlie.
Hi, I am Charlie. I use she, her pronouns, and I am playing chaotic and cheese-based satyr, Ashling.
The Cheesemancer. Excellent, fantastic. Before we jump into today's episode, just a quick thank you to our wonderful mods, Nikki and Michelle, if they actually managed to make it today. They have been keeping an eye on our chat for us as well. And thank you to all of you wonderful people for joining us and coming in on this wonderful, weird adventure. We are just about to leap into the next chapter. Oh, one more thing. If I'm a little snuffly today, I apologise. About half an hour ago, my hay fever went, no, boyo, that we're going to play today. It was fine right up to that point. So if I leap
You
off...
lost your constitution saving roll to pollen.
I did. I've done 5 constitution saves and I failed the last one with a natural 1. So there we go. So if I leap off for a second, it's just because I've got a small sneezing fit, but I will be back as quick as I can. So, last we left off, our 3 adventurers have been attending a grand ball in their honour. There has been dancing and games and parties and plays, drinks and diversions, dangerous destinations, demons, and secrets. It has been a night to remember, but it was ever so lightly prolonged for them as they were invited to a secret meeting with several of the world's leaders or representatives of major nations throughout the Scattered Lands. There they discovered that this group of individuals meet when they need to decide things that benefit the Scattered Lands as a whole, rather beyond the borders of beyond the individual borders and individual concerns and politics. Kind of like the general idea of United Nations, but in secret. They were particularly concerned about a recent problem with the Sky Shield, the giant magical bubble that keeps the islands of the Scatterlands afloat and away from the dangerous lands below, which are completely, from our understanding, overtaken by wild fey beings. The meeting went on to reveal that they had, with the information provided by our 3 friends, they had managed to track down a possible source of information. 5 temples throughout the Scattered Lands that enforce and strengthen the Sky Shield and keep it from collapsing. Unfortunately, no one knows where they are apart from the magi that erected the temples in the first place, who have gone into hiding. It was revealed that one individual might be able to help them, an old acquaintance of Eugene, the Crythoran or gemfolk known as Ghost. our three friends agreed to travel to the Cairne, the central mountain that makes up the main island of Clouds Cairn, to talk with the Crythoran and see if they can find out what they know, and even if Ghost or one of Ghost's crystals is still around, whether they can share information as to where they might find these temples. So, we will flash outside for a moment. The last of the fireworks fall away to one side. People start to gather up for the last few drinks, and communication goes around the different crowds to say that this is the end of the evening. Please wind up your drinks and make your way to wherever you're staying or home. In the midst of this, one particular figure stands scowling at the sky. Martin Risford looks around for many figures, but in particular he notes two siblings, Iskarok and Cambor, conspicuously absent. He reaches down to a ring and mutters something in a language that not many people speak, and a smaller framed man, and he's quite a skinny fellow himself, wanders up to him. They exchange heated from Martrim and more apologetic words before the smaller figure darts off again. Turning to scowl, he kind of scowling through the crowd. He makes a mental note, turning to another figure, the smaller halfling woman who he has spent most of the night with. They're keeping secrets from us. Now, dear, you don't have none of that. They're nobles. Remember that. I think you forget that although you have the Emperor's ear, they hold sway. And they're good people. Don't you forget that. His companion gives him a nod and then starts to wander past on her way down the stairs. Martin waits, hopeful that he will catch sight of his quarry. In a private chamber deep within the citadel, the meeting is wrapping up. Our three friends have an opportunity to discuss things further with any of the attendees there, or if they want to, they can just simply move on. Campbell is talking to Rebecca and Sifin. Leader Rashor, Mossy Dillweed, is discussing with the Daklan delegates. The only person who's left so far is the strange, hedgehog-like fey creature, Auntie Needles. So, if there is anyone you'd like to talk to who was there last week, you may do so now.
I think I'm just going to go over to Campbell.
Rebecca nods and just steps back to give you some space. Campbell smiles.
I'm just going to say to Rebecca, I only be a second. I just need a second with Campbell. And then I'm going to just turn around and just say, I would like a conversation before you go anywhere, or before we go anywhere, really. However, I have agreed to talk to Riskford at the end of all of this, so I best go and find him before his tiny little brain implodes in annoyance.
Oh, you don't have to. I mean, he's only a priest.
Well, I know, but I said I would, despite the fact that he's a priest. So yes, I will go and find him and probably have a small conversation and annoy him some more. And then I will be back. But perhaps we can chat. Are you still around tomorrow?
I wasn't planning on leaving for a couple of days. There's some delegation and some trade elements that I need to discuss with Rebecca.
Sounds grouping. Yes, well, I will send a message for you tomorrow, and perhaps we can have a conversation before you head back to the joy that is the Empire.
She smiles. She goes,
Shade.
she smiles and
Shade.
nods. And goes, well, I'm staying here, so I'm easy to find. And also, she and you kind of feel the brush of her mind against yours. We've never had a problem getting in touch when we need to.
Well, yes, but now that you are of such elevated status, I wouldn't want to inconvenience you in any way.
A family is never an inconvenience, Rock. You should know that. And there's a very pointed look as she kind of brushes past you.
My last parting word will just be, spoken like a true diplomat. Bye! And I'm going to just make my way over to Aisling and Eugene and just say, I don't really. If you have any questions for this lot, do sort of make notes. I have to go and speak to someone, but I'll be back soon. I won't be long if that's okay.
Okay.
Questions? Should we ask questions? What should we ask? What should we be asking? What do we need to know? We don't need to know anything else, do we?
To be honest, we don't really know what the hell's going on anyway. But I thought perhaps you may have some questions about the magic, or your friend, the ghost. Was it your acquaintance? I don't know. But they did mention the magpies, so I will get in touch with the magpies after this. But anyway, I need to go and have a very dull conversation with someone.
Okay, yeah, you can do that by yourself. Yeah.
Oh God, I wouldn't subject you to that. Right, I shall be back as soon as I can.
Okay.
And I will bow to everybody else and then awkwardly kind of leave, sort of waving at people.
Sabina walks in step with you as you leave. She goes, before you disappear, if I might accompany you on your way outside for a second.
Oh, of course, I would be more than happy for the company. Shall we?
Yes. And she steps outside. We'll come to that in a moment. Aisling and Eugene, is there anybody here that you would like to talk to?
How much because I knew Auntie Needles already, didn't I?
You knew, well, you have talked to Auntie Needles several times. You don't really know much about her outside that she currently heads out the Fey Enclave just outside the city.
Okay.
Are there any cheese-based snacks in the room?
Not anymore. It has been more than half an hour and Aisling was inside.
I'm like a black hole. They just gravitate towards me.
Like Kirby.
Yeah.
Just open your mouth and all the cheese comes towards you.
That's horrific and
pretty
wonderful.
much. Yeah, truly disturbing for anyone to witness that. I don't know whether I think Aisling's very she wants to talk to Auntie Needles, but she doesn't know what to talk about.
Auntie Needles disappeared immediately after saying,
"Oh no!"
She did a proper teleportation. I'm going to go get things sorted for when you lot arrive.
Dang it. Okay. Well then, I think Aisling's just going to linger for a minute and sort of look between where Rock went and where all these dignitaries are, and be like, "Oh God. Okay, I'm gonna go. Eugene, I'm gonna go outside."
But you're just going to leave me here with all these important people.
I don't know. There's no. What? Do you want to talk to these people?
Well, I don't have any specific questions. Maybe we should go.
I think Rebecca is close enough that she kind of leans in and goes, "You don't have to stay if you don't want to."
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. As you do, you kind of see the effigy, this paper drake, kind of fall back into these papers and leap back into that wooden bound book, which Arkintir tucks away.
That was pretty cool. That was very cool. Can you learn how to? Can you summon something like that?
Well, not currently. I imagine that spell's a little out of my league.
Oh, you could do it. You could do it.
You could make me an Arcana check if you want to.
Alrighty.
First roll of the night.
17.
17. You're not entirely certain. You've never seen a spell exactly like that. You can theorize that it might be an adaptation of the spell Simulacrum.
Okay.
Which would indicate that the Eternal Librarian is some kind of drake.
Cool.
But you can't be 100% certain.
Yeah,
Maybe
you could
one day I
you
could.
totally do that. Yeah.
When I'm Eternal Librarian.
Well, that will happen. It is at this point now. Yeah, that's your destiny, mate. You've got no choice.
I mean, it's pretty much fated, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. Okay. So
Let's see.
should we linger around outside where Rock went? Because I'm super not interested in whatever conversation he's about to have.
I would be interested to see who he's talking to, though. Seems a bit shady.
Yeah, but not.
I mean,
anything they
why
can
stop
say.
spying on him now, Eugene?
Exactly. Well, it's not like he tells us anything. If I want to know anything, I've got to spy on him.
I love the fact that there's this canon where Rock is always telling them how awful the Empire and all the politics in court are and immediately does exactly the same thing that all those politicians and courtiers do. Go off and have secret meetings and hide.
Oh, that's so true.
It's not a secret meeting.
It so was.
Well, I told you. Well, I was going. Oh, you mean with Cairne? That was kind of a secret meeting, yes.
So,
But it wasn't much of a secret once Eugene had sent a spy.
So Sabina takes your arm as you walk through the citadel, and she goes, "I have to apologise. I should have been more forthcoming around Skia and her involvement in protecting you and others. I understand that sometimes my courtly voice gets caught up in my actual actions. But," and she kind of just stops you for a second and says, "Know that anything I do with your interest in heart. You are one of the children around court that I always had fondness for, and I would never do anything to endanger you or your friends."
I would never. It is unlikely I would think that you would do anything to harm us. However, when people become your friends, or you think of them as such, and it then turns out that they were in fact sent to be your friends, it does undermine things a little. So I won't lie, it did sting a little to discover what was really going on. Nevertheless, I think very highly of Skia, and I think we still consider her a friend no matter what. So
She will be relieved to hear that. She was very fond of all of you, and she doesn't normally like hiding who she is. Needless to say, I am going to ask you to keep my presence here a secret from Martrim.
Oh, good lord. It's the last person I would tell anything like this to. To be honest, the only person I would share anything like this with is Camber, and apparently she knew all along. So, there you go. Your secret is safe with me. To be honest with you, I'm unsure of the impact that me being here and being seen here will have on the whatever's going to happen next, because Martin will no doubt not keep my presence here a secret. So who knows? So I would ask that while I realize you do tend to take not a public role in things that happen in the Empire necessarily, I would ask that you keep an eye out and have my back.
Always.
Sometimes my sister's hands are a little tied, which is perfectly understandable, although don't tell her that I gave her that leeway. So your help, or at least your vigilance, would be appreciated.
Advice in regards to Martrim. He believes he has far more power than he actually does. He is the current favourite of our Emperor in terms of religious men or women, or religious souls, I should say. But that changes on a regular basis, as you know. Campbell and your family have secured their seat with the favour of the people, and that always holds more weight in the long run.
True, although I have seen enough damage done by devious little men who think more of themselves than they really are, to know that I cannot dismiss him.
No, my only concern at this point is the Emperor's infatuation with you in your younger days may mean that he sends his attentions this way again. But
well, I mean, he's only mortal. You can't blame him. But nevertheless, that was a long time ago, and I do still have a choice, and I have made my choice as where my place in the world is, and currently it is here with my friends.
And I will ensure that any information about your location is obscured.
Although, as I say, I'm sure Martin won't. But nevertheless, he wished to talk to me, so it'd be interesting to see what exactly he wants to say.
Well, I shall wish you luck with that.
And he has no knowledge of you being here at all?
None whatsoever. And I must put my trust in you for that. My presence here is for the Empire as a whole, not the Emperor.
I mean, I would love to see his face if I did tell him that, but I won't. I shall keep your secret, as I know you have kept mine.
She smiles, and then she shifts weaves a small pattern in the air, and then her figure changes, and she goes back into her disguise as Mika, the Earth Ganassi.
I'm just going to sort of have a look and just say, good. Quite fetching in both forms. Do before you go, do send my regards to Skia. As I say, she is always welcome to come back and stab things with us, as she seems to be very adept at that.
She responds in Mika's voice, which is a little lighter. There's always an opportunity to, and I know that should you need the Drakes, they would be more than happy to assist you in the future.
Well, that's very nice to hear. It would be nice to have them alongside us, openly, shall we say.
Indeed. You would both understand the situation in those circumstances.
Well, yes, it doesn't mean I like it, though. Right, I should go and brace myself and talk to Martin. Do travel safely.
It's about this point in time that the two of you step outside the main foyer, and you can actually see Martrim is standing cross-armed, watching everybody else depart, like just away from everybody else.
And before I head down to Martrim, I'm just going to look back at her and just go, do send my love to Jaggeth, and I'm just going to smile, turn around, and walk to Martrim.
She smiles and just bows as if she were a servant who just helped you out, and then steps back inside.
And then I will very obviously sort of acknowledge where Martrim is and kind of and smile a completely fake smile and walk directly towards him.
He scrambles. You can see him scrambling internally to try and find the right tone to talk to someone who's effectively a member of the High House at this point, even though you've kind of disassociated yourself from the Empire. And it's kind of, you watch as this sort of, he's not very good at hiding his emotions. High wisdom, low charisma. And you can literally see like this sort of like, how do I approach this, like play out, and before you get close, and he kind of settles into this sort of calm, I am going to listen sort of expression. Master Iskarok, I was hoping to talk to you earlier, but this is perfect. There's no one else to interrupt us at this point, I can see.
Yes, I thought it would be rude to have a conversation while people are on stage, no?
That would be very accurate, yes. There was a interesting performance. Obviously, these stories predate a lot of our modern history, but they do call into question certain teachings within certain clergies.
You do know it was just a play, right?
Always, but there is...
It's just fantasy, make-believe, yes?
Fair enough, yes.
Yeah. You wanted a word? How can I help you?
Moreover, as a representative of the Emperor and his personal interest, I just wanted to bring word of your wealth and your doings back to His Eminence directly, so that he might know that how a member of his future court found themselves entangled in such interesting and colourful events.
Well, you can say whatever you wish, Atrum, but while my family may be a high house within the Empire, I am not royalty, and I have no obligation to take any role within the family should I choose. So I currently choose to travel and do what I can elsewhere, helping people, which I'm sure the Emperor would never want to deny help to people, surely.
There's this sort of slight pause as he chooses his next words very carefully. Of course, the Emperor is, of course, a light of love in the Empire and the world beyond it. The Emperor's past have only ever sought the greater welfare of the world at large. That was the tenets that the Empire was forged upon, after all.
You see, I knew you would agree with me.
But if I may, he will be of wondrous interest to find that you are both alive, well, and thriving. Is there a message that I might take back to His Eminence?
Well, of course, I send only my best wishes. However, I have no interest or intention of returning to the Empire now.
I see.
So you can take whatever message you wish, Martrim. However, it will not change what I am doing now, and it will not change where I am.
I see. Well, thank you, Iskarok, for being so forthright and for taking the time to have this conversation. I cannot say that the Emperor will not be disappointed, but I think he will at least understand.
Well, I will be back to see my family at some point when I feel the time is right, and of course I would love to see the Emperor and to pay my respects. However, I currently have work to do here, and I'm sure you have much to do back in the Empire.
Ah, yes, the tenets of the Great Eastern Dragon must be spread far and wide.
Oh, indeed, far and wide.
Which reminds me, you used to be a supplicant of the Eastern Dragon. Do you still practice?
Oh, I practice a great many things.
He's going to do an insight check on you at that one.
Oh, this is the shadiest conversation.
Are you going to try and conceal, or are you just...
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah. Deception, then?
Yes, please. He got a 23.
Oh, shit.
Yo. Come on, Rock.
Okay, let's see. Oh, no. 10.
A 10.
I think that's the lowest I've rolled on deception in this entire game.
There is a twitch of an eye and a quirk of an eyebrow. I see. Well,
I will just continue to smile and literally not even change my expression.
this has been a
You're not getting a Christmas card this year, Rock.
This has been
Gutted.
most enlightening. And should you find yourself back in the Empire, please do stop by the temple. I know that we always welcome our wayward children.
I'm sorry, you're what?
I bid you good night. And he just bows and gently walks down the steps.
I am going...
Cast Fireball.
I cast Fireball on him. No, I cast Shatter on his head. No, I am going to... I'm going to use animating performance. And as he walks away, I am going to... what is he walking on?
These are stone steps. These are part of the Citadel's stone steps.
Okay, fine. So I will then use this... I'll use animated performance to animate one of the stone blocks on the stairs. Just to do a bit of a wobble to send him doing one of those like down the stairs as soon as he turns around to walk away.
Okay.
embarrassing.
What we'll do is, using your animated object stat blocks, make an attack roll. It's not to do injury, it's just to do an attack roll. And
Attacking his balance.
And he will resist it with a dexterity save. Okay, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Attack roll. What do I actually use for my attack roll on that?
It should say if you're using in D&D Beyond, it should have updated your stat block for that.
Well, no, it just says as an action I can target a large or smaller non-magical item and animate it. Oh, it uses the dancing item stat block. Okay.
Have you got that?
I do somewhere here. So that would be... Where does it tell me? Okay, cool. So that is a 18.
18 will hit. Yes, he has a bit of a wobble and nearly loses his footing, but he recovers sort of like in kind of, and then sort of carries along back. That sort of stroppiness is back in him now.
I'm just going to yell out, "Oh, do be careful! Those stone steps are deceptively smooth and even."
That's good. That's good.
And that is how you get a last word, ladies and gentlemen.
I agree, Michelle.
Absolutely
Savage.
Yeah. I think you, Aisling and Eugene, you probably come out just as Matrim is walking away.
Do we see them wobble?
You see the wobble, and then Rock's final statement.
Oh, they've had a few too many. Drink some water.
Bless you, Chris. I'm just going to wave at the two of you and just go, well, that was about as painful as I expected.
Oh, was that the person you had to talk to?
Mm.
Oh.
Who was that guy?
He is one of the advisors to the Emperor from the religious side, shall we say.
Oh, gross.
Oh yeah, he's a tedious little man who thinks far more of himself than he really should. However, he is also very ambitious and will no doubt go right back to the Emperor with stories of what happened here. So, yay.
Wait, good thing or a bad thing?
Oh no, bad thing. There is a reason, as I told you, there's a reason that I didn't make much of my past with the Empire, etc. Because once you are part of the Empire, particularly with a family like mine, they assume that you will always be a part of the Empire and will stay in the Empire and do as the Empire thinks you should. So
Sounds
the
like a
fact,
bit of a cult, Rock.
yeah, it does have that vibe sometimes. So I have kept my presence and my location not secret, but I have done what I can to make sure that people there don't really know where I am. And now that they do, the Emperor himself will probably expect me to come back, or at least try and convince me to come back and be part of the family. And
But you don't have to.
I
Like,
don't have to. However, the Empire is built and runs on duty and expected places in society, in status, in whatever, in class. It's one of the reasons I left, and one of the reasons that I don't like it there is because you are trapped within the confines of what's expected, and they have already decided your future, your status, your job, your everything, as soon as you're
ew,
basically taking your first breath. So,
ew.
yes. So now you understand why I left, and I could have done without running into that little odious
Yeah, it
little man.
sounds a bit shit.
There's some footsteps sort of towards you, and a few figures are coming out of like now, just from the obviously trails from the meeting. Some other people, some attaches and things. Cambo is just about in the edge of earshot as you finish your sentence, and she smiles and wanders over, and she just slips her arm into Rock's, and she goes, "And Mother Dearest wanted to marry Rock to the Emperor."
Oh, what?
Wait, you were going to marry the That's why
No,
he's
I
so...
was never going to marry the Emperor.
But he's not just going to let that go. What if he like tries to make you come back?
He probably should have moved on by now. I mean, now that he is actually Emperor, he's got more important things to worry about, hasn't he, dear? But
Also,
but he's always been a man who's very used to getting what he wants.
Yeah, and some people, when they've got a crush on, like, they get a bit mental.
So like, she kind of leans up and just gives Rock a quick peck on the cheeks. Don't worry, darling. He's not going to get to you whilst I'm alive.
well, of course. I mean, I assume that you would make sure that they don't come try and drag me back to the Empire as much as you possibly can.
I mean, I did see my brother at this the soiree, as Martin will no doubt say, but it was so busy and I was doing so many things for the Empire. It was really hard to keep track of him. And by the time the evening came to pass, he'd gone on his adventures.
Of course, and I'm sure Martram would not dare challenge a high house.
Ashling's extremely confused.
Technically, I still outrank Martram.
Oh, that's never stopped Martram from thinking he's above things or people.
Or his descendants. Yeah, or his predecessors.
Anyway, he is an odious little creep. But I've done my duty. So,
are you going to show me this wonderful house you mentioned earlier?
Oh
you
my
mean
god, you're
Eugene's
gonna come see the house!
Because I
Never
could
gonna
do
live
a
that down.
nightcap.
well, I would not presume to invite you back to Eugene's house, but I'm sure you can come and have a look. And there are many
Also,
places.
you are not ready for how cute my frog is.
I accept that challenge openly, Aisling. I have met a lot of cute frogs in my time.
You are not ready. Clementine's the cutest one of them all.
Most of them
What?
put in my bed by my brother.
Ugh!
Rock, that's gross.
Rock, you put frog. Ugh!
What? Well, it's a lot less funny when she finds them cute.
There are some well slimy ones though.
I know. I remember. Yes. Anyway, so is there anything else we need to do here? Camber, anyone we should be speaking to? I mean, we obviously bow to your superior knowledge as a high house diplomat.
Well, I mean, I know who I've spoken to and who I need to, and I've done my bits for the evening. I mean, Rebecca and I have a meeting tomorrow morning, but up to that point, shortly before midnight, I could probably go for a couple of hours. If you want to go and show me this wonderful city or your wonderful home, I'm completely up for that.
Plus, Rebecca gave me and Eugene the all clear. We didn't need to talk to anyone, so we got official permission to not talk to anyone else.
I'd really like to get out. I mean, it's been nice being like all fancy and dressed up and stuff, but I'm quite uncomfortable now, and I'd really like to take off this bow tie.
You can take the bow
You
tie
look
off
so
anytime you
sharp,
want,
though,
but
Eugene.
You do look very good.
Thanks.
We'll have to like figure out a way to make you some PJs that look just as smart as that, but that are well soft.
Yeah, yes. So,
Okay.
Shall we?
You descend the stairs. At the bottom of the stairs, you see a familiar group of people. Countess Sothis is kind of gathered together with the rest of the representative from Parshkik, and looking, sort of trying not to look very obvious about it, but failing abysmally. Is Gree kind of like trying to see if you're coming over?
Yeah, Eugene, we'll see him and approach.
I'm going to walk towards Sothis past Gree, and just acknowledge him as I walk past, and just kind of nod, and as I walk past, just say "Evening, Gristle," and head over to Sothis.
So mean.
He raises a finger to say something, and then like there's this other hand as Riskriv just kind of just pushes it down, just kind of shakes her head, and he kind of nods and hi. How did the meeting go? Anything?
You mean the secret meeting?
Oh yeah. Is it? So I mean the conversation you were going to have with Rock and the others, of course.
Yeah, it was interesting. We have to go find some temples. But I'll write you a letter. I shouldn't really talk about it out here, but I can explain later.
But if there's anything I can do to help, please let me know. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
like I'm less about the whole pew boom, but I am very with the books. The pew boom was very scary.
But cool though, right?
Flower.
How you all do it on a daily basis, but I am really pleased that there are people in the world that are brave as you are to do it. I'm just not that person.
Making things explode is quite fun, actually.
I mean, I do it by accident, but it's not the same. I think I'll leave the demon slaying to you. What are you doing with the rest of your night?
Oh, we were gonna show Rock's sister to my house.
Oh wow, you have of course you. Oh wow, cool.
Yeah, I'm a homeowner, no big deal.
Riskriv kind of rolls for us. Would you please take him with you? He wants to spend the rest of his evening with you, but is being too awkward to ask directly. Wow.
I think at this point Eugene goes a little bit red for not like realizing that was what he like should have said.
And like Gree's wonderfully sort of grey complexion just darkens so it's nearly black, like nearly ebony, like just as the blood flows to his.
Well, yeah, of course you're welcome to come with us.
I mean, if I'm not imposing, I know Rock wants to catch up with his sister, and I think it's at this point that Campbell just kind of nudges Rock, and she goes, "Well, I want to find out all about him, so he's coming with me." Just kind of grabs Eugene and Gree by the shoulders, and just, so how did you two meet?
Oh God.
Well, it's a funny story, actually. I mean, well, it's not funny, haha, but funny weird.
It's a funny story. The whole world nearly ended. It's hilarious. I am just going to look at Aisling and just kind of shrug and gesture to follow them.
Okay.
So
I was assuming he was coming back with us anyway, so.
The only person who wasn't was Eugene.
Angry.
Aisling has a +7 to her insight. She was kind of assuming.
Yeah. So the five of you make your way back to the auto cart, which has been left for your usage, and will take you home.
I forgot they've got a chariot.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you make your way through the streets, which are still quite busy. There's still a lot of partying going on, a lot of people drinking and shouting and singing. It's kind of got rowdier. It's less organised and more just general chaos at this point. It's all like you can see the tin hats on most corners, and it's all very good natured and basically Rebecca's plan to kind of distract a little bit of the concerns with this party has definitely worked. Everyone's enjoying it.
It's also working with Aisling because she's stuck her head out the window and is trying to join in on stuff as she goes past.
Yeah, and there's several people sort of...
Sorry, I just have the idea of Ashley, the head hanging out like a dog out the car.
grabbing cheese plates as she goes. At one point...
Yep.
At one point, Campbell goes, "Where did you get that? That's amazing."
There was this guy that was quite a while back.
She's very gifted at finding cheese. To be fair, she's very gifted at finding a lot of things. She is, in fact, a very remarkable cartographer, but cheese particularly, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
Do you have a special map for cheese?
Oh, one?
Cheese map.
Yeah, I've got multiple.
So, have you already mapped all the good cheese shops in Cloud's Cairne?
Yeah, and they're categorized for sharpness, creaminess, whether they turn into toasties well. The whole thing.
Amazing. So you find yourself back at your doorstep and making your way in.
I'm just going to say to Aisling very quietly, I'm not cleaning up if Gree explodes when he sees all the books.
Oh, yeah, no, never mind. We've got stuff for that.
Well, Eugene has stuff, you mean?
Okay, yeah. Eugene has stuff for that.
True. Fair point.
Yeah.
I think Campbell's just like a step behind you both. I'm sorry. Did the person who gave up an ancestral home and mansion indicate that he is jealous of the young half-elf doing well for himself?
I would never be jealous of Eugene doing well for himself. He is a remarkable young man.
This is beautiful, by the way.
It is quite nice. We are actually very lucky.
So, you guys settle in for some conversation. I think Camber stays for a little while, about an hour or so, just having a few drinks and a bit of a chat and a catch up with you all. She is remarkably impressed by Kath, who is, of course, on the ball. Immediately, as soon as you come home, your Sidoric Forgeborn kind of makes her presence known and makes sure you have coffee or tea or anything that you need to kind of cap off the night.
Port
and more cheese.
Yeah.
The conversation kind of just stays quite light and gentle unless there's anything that you particularly want to pull up, draw out of Campbell or Gree at this time. Do you tell Gree about the meeting now, or do you wait a little bit later?
Yeah, I think Eugene would definitely want to show him his room and the library, and he would definitely fill him in on the meeting.
And as Rock predicts, there is a genuine sort of huge excitement at seeing this wonderful library that belongs to not only you, but Tythig Perb, a very powerful practitioner of mute magic. Two of you kind of go around the house. A frog is brought out at one point, and Campbell does acknowledge that is an extremely cute frog.
Yeah, and she's huge.
Yeah, so the last bits of your evening are very pleasant and caught up with your friends. Gree can't offer anything at this point in time because obviously his knowledge and history is pre the the Sky Shield. So he has some theories about the sorts of magic that might have been used in time of it. It kind of mentions graviturgy as a field of study at one point, and it's not his field because obviously he's a divination. He's more enchantment, but he did know of graviturgists who would probably be the first people that you could talk to about this. Also, he says, natural practitioners of magic would be a good people to talk to. Do you people still have druids?
Well, this is funny because I was actually just going to ask you about druids. They're not very common these days. In fact, I don't think I've ever actually met a druid.
It is true. Druids are they're around, but they have a tendency to stay in one place, mostly taking care of the land that they watch over. They don't tend to be very visible in cities like this. When in my day, they mostly kept to the wilds. There were some urban druids, mostly like healers and diviners, but no, we didn't have any in the town or the village. I'll talk to Sosis and see if we knew of any druids that were on the island as it is now, but I don't think we have any. But they would be good people to talk to because they would have known the world very differently to the rest of us.
Yeah. How do we find one? That's the question.
I find if druids are anything like they used to be when in my time, if they don't want to be found, they have a tendency not to be found. And then if you do go after them, you have a tendency to run into people like their rangers. So, I don't know, but we should... I tell you what, well, because you're going to be busy, obviously, what I can do from where I am is I'm starting to make some connections and stuff. I can start asking those questions for you, and I can send you a letter once I know more.
That would be great, thank you.
But just consider me, like, your home base for knowledge. Like, anything that you need on the road, just send me a letter or a message, and, we can... Do you know the message spell?
Yes, I do.
Excellent, cool. Because I was going to say you could copy it from my book. If not, we can always do that.
Can't copy homework. You got to make it look like you didn't copy it.
You just, as our friends in Wicked Game are finding out, you just have to make sure that you copy it properly, or it gets very weird.
Oh yeah, and be careful about stuff you don't understand. Because
thanks by the way for putting me off ever learning Summon Fae. Eugene will never learn that spell. Anyway.
Right. So the rest of your evening kind of ties up nicely. Cambor eventually politely says goodnight, gives you all a hug, and takes Rock's hand, steps off into the corridor for a second. Well, I'm around for the next couple of days if you need me. Don't scrimp on your preparations, but you know what you're doing way better than I do. And if there's anything I can do, or if you need to come to the Empire, let me know first.
But I'm hoping I won't have to come to the Empire. But if I do, I will make sure that I let you know first, believe me.
Well, if these temples are scattered through the scattered lands, there's a good possibility one of them might be in the Empire, if not more.
Yes, well, I'll jump off that bridge when I come to it.
Fair enough. We can always try and find a quiet way to get you in the Empire. Mum and Dad don't want to know.
Oh, well, like I say, we can talk about that later. I have enough to think about right now. But do keep in touch if you hear anything that may be helpful as we try and find this ghost and the temples and things, please.
We're going to start looking our side. Try and keep it out of the court in general, but we'll start quietly looking to see if anybody's heard anything about these temples or these magi and see what we can find our side. I will probably leave it to her as to the courtesan more than direct involvement, but I'll provide what resources I can.
Well, from what I remember, she has quite a network of trustworthy sources, so she may be the best to find out some information like that.
And even the untrustworthy ones are so well paid off, they wouldn't dare cross her.
I mean, she can be quite terrifying too.
Well, this has been a pleasure, and too long in coming, and I wish it were in better circumstances.
It was a lovely surprise. I mean, more of a surprise than I wish it had been, but a lovely surprise nonetheless.
Well, I mean, if you will go missing for 6 months, I will start asking questions about you.
Well, I was a little busy. It was ever so slightly difficult to write you a letter from a different time and plane.
I know.
So,
I know, and I understand. It doesn't mean I don't worry.
Oh, yeah, I think you have enough to worry about. I'm fine. As you can see, I'm surrounded by an unusual but very talented bunch of people. So I'm perfectly fine.
You're almost like the adventurers from our stories growing up.
I think adhering that rock is trying to remain composed, but is clearly beaming with sort of pride at being told that.
Right. Well, I love you, and I will talk to you very soon.
Of course you do. Yes, I will be in touch, and I will let you know how things are going. But I'm sure with this bunch of your little secret society of leaders, I'm sure everyone will be in touch.
She kind of leans over, squeezes your hand, and goes, "Yes, but a sister does like to hear from her brother directly."
Well, of course, Miss Kiki will be in touch.
She smiles and laughs and just steps outside. And, till next time. And she kind of walks down and gets back into the...
Bye, Camber!
For her. And she waves.
I'm standing behind Rock and I'm making Clementine wave like you do with your pet. Yep, that's it, spot on.
Rock just turned around straight into the face of a frog. Oh, God.
Don't be rude.
It was just a shock. They're adorable, really.
Amazing. So, is there anything you would like to do before you turn in for the night?
Well, I'd like to know if Gree is staying over.
That is the conversation between Eugene and Gree, and it is entirely up to Eugene.
But before Eugene starts the seduction protocol, I'm going to quickly go.
That is a sentence
Eugene.
that does not make sense.
That's a good point. It's a bit of a paradox, that one.
I was going to say that seduction and Eugene just currently are a little weird to put together.
I think what's more likely is the two of them talk late into the evening, and eventually one or both of them just fall asleep together.
Yeah, they'll fall asleep like over the books again, like they did the first time they met.
Oh, those nerds. I think
I
Aisling will go up to
definitely draw the
Eugene, though.
moustache on them again.
Of course. Ashley's going to go up to Eugene and sort of be like, right, Eugene, hey, I know it's like really late. I've still got like a bunch of energy. Would you mind if I hung out in the library for a bit? Not like, I won't be anywhere near you guys. You can, I'll leave you guys alone. But I'll like hide behind a bookshelf or something. But I want to look up some of the cool maps and stuff that they were talking about earlier about the temples and things. Do you mind if I do that?
Yeah, that's fine. Just don't get cheese on anything, please.
I won't.
Remember what
I've
I
left
said?
it all-
The library is a cheese-free zone, and I mean,
I know.
please.
I know.
I
She
don't
turns out
have
her
many
pockets
rules
to prove.
in the library.
Ain't
Just
nothing.
no cheese, please.
Turns out her pockets, opens Clementine's mouth to prove. There's nothing.
What about the bag of
This
holding?
tongue just lips out and just kind of sticks to Eugene's face for a second.
No, Clement, we've discussed this, right? No, bags in my room. I promise.
Okay.
Thanks. It's because since leveling up, Aisling now has aspect of the moon, so she doesn't sleep anymore.
Oh, wow, cool.
Oh.
I forgot
Yeah.
that was coming.
Because she's got Eldritch
Oh my
invocation
God,
of that.
24-hour cheese eating.
Jesus. Oh my God, Aisling doesn't need to rest. Oh dear Lord.
Yeah, that means you don't get cheese dreams anymore.
That's quite good.
Or does
But,
she?
Just awake cheese
She's
dreams.
straight up hallucinations.
Yeah. They're no longer dreams. They are just
No.
straight up hallucinations. You are just
She's
tripping
gonna-
balls all the
She's
time.
going to go even more mental than she already is. Demon in her brain, hallucinating. It's a whole thing.
Excellent.
Christ.
Yeah, so I think she's just going to chill out with whatever mappy picture-based books she can find.
Amazing.
In
There are a
the
number
library.
of books about the geography of the scattered lands, like other places that Ashling hasn't been yet. Some early maps of pre-imperial, what is now the Empire, some of the different lands within there as well.
I think she'll sort of like doodle on a few of her things. Not in Eugene's books. Won't touch them. Don't worry. She'll doodle on her
Eugene's face.
shit. She's got her crazy book that never runs out of pages, so she'll doodle in that. But it's not super concentrating because she still needs to like mentally rest. So yeah, she's gonna do that for the evening.
Yeah,
with Clementine.
light
Of
doodling
course.
and light reading is fine. It's like if you're doing intensive
Yeah.
research and that's a bit more draining. But yeah, that's fine. That's
No,
perfect.
she won't be doing that. She'll just be chilling out. Her and Clementine, who is just asleep on a pillow or something.
Oh, that's so cute. Yeah. Yeah, excellent.
I think Rock is when they all go off to do their thing. I think Rock will stay in, wherever they were downstairs having drinks and stuff, and will literally just try and get some time on his own, just sitting, thinking through
everything that's happened,
and just kind of actually running through what the consequences of all this could be. As it's now dawning on him that he actually has to do things that will involve at some point the Empire again.
Yep. Running away only lasted so long.
Yeah. So I think he'll just stay there with another glass of port and just run through everything that's happened and try and think through, sort of make himself feel a little more prepared for what's happening.
Amazing.
I think if I may, I did, because I'm quite insightful, Aisling is, I think she's left a little scrap of paper or a little note for Rock underneath his glass of port with saying your sister seems cool, we're not going to let the Emperor add you to his harem XOXO. Just a little thing to just be like, don't worry about it.
I think Rock will just sort of smile quietly and just tuck the note away.
Amazing. Eugene, one last thing before, and we're going to take a break in a second, but one last thing before you sort of pass out. I think at one point, going through the memories of what has happened this evening, you kind of remember the card that you tucked away that was given to you by the future, by the deck, from the deck. And you pull it out of curiosity, and it has changed. The figure is formed. It is much more clear. Underneath it, it has a name now, which says the Hierophant. And the image in front of it is of a lilac-skinned elven figure with a broad hat and a book of spells open before him.
Curious. I think he just kind of stares at it for a while, and then safely puts it back in his pocket.
Before we jump to the break, the ever-shifting cards in the deck of possible futures, of possible pasts, often pick up on new characters, new roles to play. As she shuffles her cards, walking back to her room in the strange inn in the bottom of the Needles, a lone sage smiles to herself as she pulls 3 new cards that have appeared. One titled the Hierophant, a clear half-elven wizard on it. One, the Keeper of Secrets, a satyr with vivid teal hair holding a box that looks like it's about to crack open. And one that's marked Returning Hero with a white scale dragonborn, his back turned to a city of many myriad lights. She smiles. Well, it seems that the future is coming sooner than we anticipated, and ducks into a revelry's room. And that is where we're going to take a quick break.
Ooh, Eugene, you need to get one of those little plastic things for your Pokemon card. Keep it safe.
Like Eugene doesn't have one of those.
I was going to say,
Very
that
good
feels like
point.
the kind of thing
Very
Eugene
good
already
point.
has, let's be honest.
I mean, between mending and prestidigitation, I'm certain that any cards that Eugene has stay in perfect condition anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Cool. We're going to take a quick 10-minute break there. So slightly earlier than we normally do, but it just felt like a much more natural place to do so. We're all going to grab a quick bio break. We'll be back at past. We invite you all to sort of get up, stretch, and just move around a little bit. And we will see you very, very shortly. We are back. Hello. I hope everybody had a nice break. So, before the break, our friends resolved a few conversations, caught up with some friends, and retired to their house for the evening.
Eugene's house.
Eugene's house. Their home for the evening. The one question that does sort of stay open is, do Eugene and Gree sort of fall asleep in the library?
Yeah, I think they very similar to what happened before.
Yeah.
They stay up way too late discussing ideas and reading.
Is there a sort of a theme or something that that the two of them are particularly looking into?
I think Eugene would want to find out anything he could about the Chrythoric race.
Mm-hmm.
If there are any books that...
Sure. Yeah, I think your uncle has a few treatises on the early histories of them. Mostly you find out a lot of stuff about what we've already discussed, the fact that prior to the Ascension, they hadn't really had much of a contact with people in general. After the Ascension, when resources were more scarce, and particularly with Aetherstone and things being mined in a much broader sort of sense, like the rest of the peoples of the Scatterlands came into major conflict with them. Basically, because with misunderstanding, Chrythoric are born from many small sentient Aetherstones. So they are Chrythoric, as you see them, is not an individual so much as a hive of many individuals working in concert together to form a physical form.
Is that like Sawilo realness?
Kind of along those sort of ideas, yes. Each of the crystals is an individual.
Just less slimy.
gooey. Yeah.
Yeah, so more sharp than gooey. But
Good.
Generally, they're reasonably chill. They have a tendency to keep themselves to themselves, particularly their seams. A lot of mining agreements were made with them afterwards about where people could and couldn't mine, so that their selves were not getting injured or hurt or stolen for use by other people. Rooney asks the question, do Chrythoric also vote on their favourite colour? They do not. They are born a colour. They come from veins, so ruby ones have a tendency to all be red, emeralds have a tendency to all be green, so on and so forth.
Oh, pretty. Oh, I know what I'm drawing when we finish today.
Ghost, who Eugene met, was a white diamond Chrythoric, made purely from a vein of white. But he said, which is quite rare because most of the diamonds that in the vein that he came from are red diamond or pink. Make me a history check whilst you're doing your research.
19.
19. So with a 19, you also uncover a little bit of history around Ghost's travels. As you kind of assessed last week, you kind of guessed that maybe Ghost was one of the first to kind of step out and beyond the confines of his clusters, or their clusters, I should say. They were involved in several different sort of interactions with people around the world. They were instrumental in helping to build some communities and defend people from some destructive purposes. It always feels like Ghost has had this purpose to protect something other than themselves, and has driven them to kind of be one of the early voices of peace amongst the Chrythoric, compared and like negotiating with like the fleshier humanoids around the world. The ghost that you met would not be the same ghost. That ghost would carry some of the original ghost's memories, and be able to refer to certain elements within ghost's past. But they, as an individual, would be formed of new crystalline clusters. The average
That's really cool.
cluster usually lasts around about 25 to 30 years, and then they return home so some of the clusters return to pass on, and they take on new gems to fill out their purpose.
So cool.
And I think you're kind of like reading about this one when you eventually sort of just drift slowly to sleep. And the next morning you, Angry, find yourself sort of in that sort of slightly awkward position that you have before, but it doesn't feel quite as awkward this time. But the two of you have been covered with a large blanket, as Kath at some point has come through and just made sure the two of you are okay. So the next morning comes along. The two of you awake, and Aisling, it is your first night without any sleep. It's kind of like you.
I'm really confused.
Has Ashley just been watching us sleep?
No!
Like Edward Cullen.
Oh my god.
But it does mean that Aisling is awake first. And I'd like you to roll me an insight check, please.
Will do. Oh, nat 20.
And that
Oh.
Plus 7.
Jeez.
there is kind of this weird feeling within you, like something, like your own power is growing slightly, and you try and sleep, and you feel rested, and it feels like you've had a good night's sleep, but your mind hasn't switched off at all. As you kind of feel more power flowing from your connection to Alabaster than you've ever felt before. It's almost like you've kind of, that connection has deepened through your recent experiences, and you can actually feel him. Like before, you kind of like, you knew he was there because you could reach out and kind of like send him a message, but you can actively feel him all the time.
I think I am gonna comment on that to him and be like, personal space. You know, you're not doing that anymore, or?
What are you talking about? I'm trying to sleep and you keep interrupting me. What's going on?
I don't know. I couldn't. I sort of did. I think I snoozed a bit last night, but like, I don't really want to sleep.
No,
Is
you've
that
been
a thing?
awake all night.
It's okay.
No, you've been awake all
Oh.
night, and you have been in my thoughts all night. It's very strange.
Oh.
What are you doing?
Sorry?
Don't be sorry. It's quite impressive.
I don't know. Is this okay? Am I dying? What's happening?
I don't think you're dying. I don't generally. I mean, I'm alive, so therefore my power is alive. This is not
Okay.
romantic in mode. There are some powerful undead that can turn people into permanent undead and give them their power. But I am not one of them. My power comes from elsewhere.
Okay.
That's what he would say.
Ah!
I do feel different.
Like, good?
Good different.
A
More-
good
more
one? Okay.
powerful, more connected.
Oh. Yeah, I'm kind of getting that vibe as well. That's good.
Yes. Well, we shall have to play with some things and see what we can do.
Okay. So if I can't sleep for like the next few days, I'm not going to go completely nuts, or...
I think I stopped that from happening.
Really?
I-
You stop the crazy?
I eat the crazy. Nom nom nom.
Never, ever say those 3 words again in my head.
There goes the crazy. Nom nom nom.
Nope, hate it. Hate it. Right, how do I turn you off? Okay.
I should just go back to what I was doing before.
Okay, so conclusion, not dying is fine, just getting better.
Yes. Weird.
Alexa, mute Alabaster.
You just realise you've got now Alexa right next to you, so she's probably going to do something now.
Oh god.
It'd be like, what the hell are you on about?
Yes, interesting. Wonder why that happened.
Okay. Alright, Ashley's quite happy with that. She's gonna probably wander down to, I don't know, dining room, wherever they have breakfast usually.
Kath is setting up for the day. It's later in the weekend, so it's just Kath on the Sunday. Or the latter
I love
part
Kath
of the
so
week.
much.
The housekeeper has a tendency to stay with his family over the weekend rather than keep
what?
things. I know, but Kath lives here.
How
currently, so.
dare he?
Rock.
Cool. Well, Ashley's happy with that because she's just sitting having a coffee, looking at Kath like that.
Ashley has got to stop just watching people. It's getting out of hand.
Hey, she did not watch Gree and Eugene.
No, you just wanted to hang out in the library.
I wanted to read
Behind
shit. I was
some
in a
books
corner.
in the corner, yeah.
Fantasy
Weird at all.
headphones on, in a corner, leaving you alone.
Just every now and then like that.
No! This is not canon.
It's a little canon.
No.
It's a cannon.
Rock fell asleep in the armchair last night, so I think he's probably still there.
Father Jack style.
Complete with knitted blanket.
Yep.
I think Aisling is still not great at the whole being quiet thing, so I think Aisling probably wakes Rock up a little bit.
Was she supposed to be trying to be good at that? Because she hasn't been.
She has hooves, for goodness sake, and horns.
Yeah. And I've still not got my little kitten mittens for my hooves yet, so...
That is true.
Yeah, so I'm just going to be clunking about, making a coffee, talking to Kath.
Yep, I think any attempt at sleep at this point is probably going to fail. But you guys do have a long rest.
Woohoo.
Just about.
I think Rock is going to stay there with his eyes closed, but after about 20 minutes, you'll just hear from his chair. Well, at least bring me a cup of coffee.
Oh! Morning! Alright, I'll get you
Morning.
coffee. I'm going to get him big, frothy, sweet, awesome, extra coffee.
How long is it before Eugene and Gree come down?
I think they come down pretty soon after. Eugene's probably reading a book as he comes into the dining room.
Is there any sort of outward signs of affection? Or is it just the two of them being themselves?
No, I think it's just the two of them being themselves.
Cool. I think Gree's also got a book at the moment. The two of them come down. And that awkward moment at the bottom of the stairs when, oh, sorry. You first. So, you have a mission to prepare for. You have a couple of days, probably have a day before you need to sort of directly head out. Rebecca said she would help you take care of provisions, and she will get you a cart, like a cart on horses to kind of travel.
Amazing.
Is there anything you need from the city, or any sort of like materials you want to purchase, or anything that you need, like for components or potions or ammunition or anything like that? You can do so. Just mark off the coins directly for the payments. And if there's anything you want to do before you head off.
I think,
Can-
sorry, carry on.
Okay.
Theo, go first.
When we went to the magic shop before, I forget what it's called.
The Odd Shop.
Yes.
Or Ash's Bookshop.
No, the odd shop. I think I had a list that I gave him.
Yes.
Spells. I think Eugene would probably like to check in and just see if any of those are available.
Yeah. So did
Smart.
you keep a note of what those were?
I did.
Cool, because I didn't. Loot's Odd Shop.
Loot Sort Shop, that's the one.
Is that Arms McGee?
That is Arms McGee.
All right, cool.
The man who is as wide as he is tall, which at like just under 5 foot is still fairly impressive.
Built like a jacked mini fridge.
Yes, so potions wise, what did you want? It was.
Oh no, it was spell scrolls.
It was
wasn't
spell scrolls, yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
I have on my list. I have Flock of Familiars, Enlarge, Reduce, Golder's Tower, and Magic Circle.
He's managed to acquire Magic Circle and Enlarge Reduce for you.
Amazing.
If you want those. What level spells are those?
Sorry, let me
That's
check.
all right.
Should have written that down.
Enlarge Reduce is a...
Second, I
I
think.
think you are...
Magic Circle is level 3.
Hang on.
Yeah, Enlarge Reduce is a second level spell, and Magic Circle is level 3.
Why have you done that? Hang on. Why? So, I think second level spells come in at probably about 300 for Enlarge Reduce. Plus your discounts, that'd be 270. And sorry, the other one was Magic Circle, wasn't it?
Magic Circle, yeah.
Which is easier to get hold of because a lot of wizards use them as a basis. So that's only 200, so it'd be 180 in this instance for you.
Cool.
So he's able to get those in for you.
Great.
Cool.
I will take them.
Amazing. Is there anything else that the rest of you want to get in?
Yeah, I think Ashling's gonna pop to the bookshop, funnily enough, and see if she can find any niche little map books that she couldn't find in Eugene's library.
Ooh, yeah. Do me a history check. It's a relatively simple one.
Okay, better be, because I don't have anything for history. 10?
A 10 is fine.
Okay, good.
With Ashes, once you just sort of describe what you're looking for and the sort of things you can do, Ashes is able to pull out actual maps for you of some of the earliest maps of in Cloud's Cairne, anyway, of the regions surrounding Cloud's Cairne. So the what was it's not now, but was a different part of the Empire. I can actually find you a name. Just give me a second. Living documents, they do make things easier. So what is part of the Empire now, but was called Cairne.
Cool.
Particularly around an area called Verdun's Torch, out to the Rickweave Islands and Curse Hollow. So these are now
Cool names.
all part of the Empire, part of the third expansion done by the current Emperor's father, so the previous Emperor. The current Emperor has done nothing but hold things in place and try and solidify political tension, like political connections, and people sort of like some of the old guard are very like, and you probably get this from Ash as she's sort of explaining things. Some of the old guard are very like, well, he's not expanding, he's not doing anything for the Empire, but the newer and younger generation, so like his father, like a little bit younger to his father, to sort of you and Eugene's age, recognize that what he's done is he's created proper stability, whereas before the previous two emperors had a sense of stability, but it was mostly based on fear, whereas now it all works properly. So he's
Okay.
actually been she thinks like he's not perfect and the Empire's not a great idea, but at least he's doing it in a way that is not resulting in lots of people dying or going missing on a regular basis.
Actively conquering stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think if she spots anything particularly interesting, I'm assuming there's no fantasy photocopier, so she's gonna
You are
just like,
the fantasy photocopier.
That is true.
oh,
Your
that's my
cartography
new
skill.
tarot card name. I'm not Keeper of Secrets anymore. Okay, yeah, then she'll copy down some interesting ones and put them in her infinite awesome sketchbook.
Amazing. Yes, so you add into the extra bit, so you can sort of just make a note that you've got maps of the what was those 3 areas: Cairne, Curse Hollow, and Rickweave Islands.
Curse Hollow and Brickweave Islands. Okay, thank you.
They still hold their own name, by the way, even though they are part of the Empire.
Okay.
Cool. Rock, is there anything you would like to touch on or investigate before you head off?
Yeah, I would like to go and see if I know where to find them. And I would like to find Sadia.
Oh, yeah, she would be staying in the Citadel, probably, under Rebecca's guest.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to just go and see if I can have a quick word with her.
Yeah, certainly. You probably send a message ahead to the Citadel to see if she's available for a meeting, and she actually sends you a message directly via the sending spell, in which she said she says I'd be delighted to meet with you, Rock. I understand there's a really nice cafe just outside the Citadel walls that provides some peace and quiet. I will book us a table there and we can have lunch.
Just send a message back saying, yes, that would be a most acceptable meeting.
Flawless, seamless.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yes. I wasn't
So-
expecting a lunch date, but
Yeah, so
great.
she makes an arrangement. Sorry, excuse me. She makes an arrangement for about midday-ish, a little bit later, for you to meet up and have a coffee and some food and a catch up there.
Cool. And then I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to do.
Well, once you're thinking about that, we can probably do that meeting if you want to.
Yeah, that's cool. If nobody else has anything they're doing in the morning.
Are you taking either of these two with you?
Well, I should ask them if they want to come along. Before I leave, I will just say I'm going to have lunch with Sadia. Although to be fair, I just wanted a 5-minute chat, but nevertheless. So yes, I'm going to have lunch with Sadia. I wanted to ask if she had any information regarding the creature that we saw, who was the merging of a... Because they apparently were found near New Dawn. I just wondered if she had any insight. It's quite a disturbing thing that's happening, and I want to find out if it's something she knows anything about. I mean, they don't obviously share secrets very often, so perhaps they have information and no one has asked them yet.
That's a good idea. Is this before or after we go off and do our other things?
I mean, you can have that conversation before, or I mean, it's up to you whether you want to do that afterwards, whether you want to have a quiet morning and then kind of go for a lunch and then go off to do your various chores. You don't need to leave today. You probably need to leave the following day, but you can still have today to kind of do errands and things and get yourselves ready. It wasn't like, right, off you go. It was very much a case of get yourselves ready and then off you go.
Okay.
So yes, I mean you're welcome to join me. As I say, I didn't kind of tell her that we would all go, but I kind of only expected to have a 5-minute conversation that she wanted to have lunch. So.
Well, she must assume we all turn up when you invite one of them. So,
I
where are you going
I'd
for
like
lunch?
to
That's
come.
the important question.
Well, there's that small, the quiet cafe just outside the Citadel. So just there, I assume she would want somewhere that was a little inconspicuous.
Okay, yeah, I'd be up for coming as well. That sounds nice. Thanks for the invite.
Sure. Yeah.
Gree gives Eugene a few of the sheaves of that folding paper again, so that you can send them through if you need to. He said, well, I'll go and find Riskarith and the others, and I will see you soon. Let me know when you need my help. I'm always around. So.
Thank you. And I had a really nice evening with you.
I had a really lovely evening with you again, and maybe we could do something a little less big, but just the two of us sometime.
That sounds nice.
Okay, well, and he kind of leans in and gives you a gentle kiss on the cheek. I will see you soon. I had a lovely time.
Thanks.
And off he goes.
Bye, Gree.
Yeah, I think Eugene turns around to find both Aisling and Rock both like that.
What do I have something on my? I have something on my face, don't I? Do I?
Yes, there's a little
Yeah.
bit of left there.
It's called love.
It's not. Don't make it weird. It's not love. It's just I don't know. What is it, Eugene?
Well, it's what?
What's going on? What's the? I mean, I know it's a book thing, but what else? What's going on? You and Gree?
How's it going?
What are you asking me?
How's it going with Gree? Eugene.
Fine. He's nice. We read books. He knows lots of stuff. It's very interesting. Is that what you mean?
He's not your lecturer. How's it going with Gree? Not academically.
Again, I'm not sure I understand the question.
Okay. I don't know what we expected out of that one. That's adorable! We're so proud of you and pleased for you.
Right, lunch.
So you make your way to the Overboil Pot, a tiny coffee shop that sits just outside the Citadel walls. It looks basically like it used to be like a storage building, and it's just basically been taken over and then built on and things like that. Like a lot of Cairne, it has various different architectural styles attached to it. Some of it is more original than the rest of it, and it's like small enough that it's not crazy, but it is like every seat is sort of taken. It's quite a popular place. But sitting at the back with an empty table is Sadia Zilman with her two escorts in much more casual sort of clothing. But again, the two elven guards do look dangerous. You kind of get the impression that if anything happened, they would be able to take care of it.
I feel like Aisling kind of puffs up to look like the guard for Rock now.
As soon as you kind of step in, Sadia just kind of waves to the three of you, and just you can see that she's kind of extrapolated that the three of you might come together, and she's left enough space for all of you.
As soon as we arrive, I'll say, "Oh, I hope you don't mind, Aisling and Eugene. I invited them with. I hope that wasn't presumptuous."
No. I mean, I kind of gathered that it might be the case. I wasn't 100% certain, but I thought I would, rather than waste a spell, I would just take the opportunity. And if we had extra space, we had extra space.
Well, yes. It's very kind of you to meet us. I hope we're not taking too much of your time.
Absolutely not. And be honest, with all the politics going on in the Citadel right now, this is a welcome break.
Yes, I can relate. Shall we? Have you ordered a drink? Would you like something?
She has a small pot of tea, but she kind of tries to get the attention of this very sort of the city-born kind of has. It's generally sort of very human looking until he gets a little closer, and you see that it has slightly more pointed ears than it would normally. It's got a slightly greenish hue to his fur, to his face, and he's just got like little tufts of fur that are not quite beard-like, but look like they might belong to something like a hobgoblin or something along those lines.
Oh, he's a teenager.
Yeah, he's definitely a teenager. And he takes your order, whatever food or drinks that you want. Sadia says that she will pick up the tab, so order what you want. And imagine, so you probably ordered teas and coffees and a huge plate of cheese for Ashley.
Hey now! I feel like she's getting typecast. She's gonna order pancakes.
Yeah, Eugene's.
Cheese pancakes.
Cheese pancakes.
No!
Ashley's going to order pancakes just to fuck with everyone's expectations.
Yep,
now.
absolutely. And
Yep.
just I would say.
She doesn't approve being typecast as a cheese fiend, even though she is.
So Sadia just kind of is pouring a cup, and she has like a really nice little salad with some various like cuts of meat and the like, and she just kind of goes, so as pleasant it is to see you all, and it is pleasant, I'm certain that there is a purpose behind asking to meet today.
Oh, yes, of course. So this is a bit of an odd request, but so where to start? Right. So basically, as you know, I'm sure I have. I know the Carnival of Curiosities very well, and the people connected to it, and basically they are currently trying to help someone that they found, essentially, who appears to be I don't really know how to say it without it sounding disrespectful, but a hybrid, perhaps, of a human and a dragon.
You mean a half dragon, like?
No.
No.
I don't. I definitely mean a hybrid. It almost appears as if someone has tried to merge themselves with a human, perhaps tried to merge themselves with a dragonborn through magical means, or.
I think at that point, Aisling might sort of slide a little drawing over that she'd made at the time of what this dragon hybrid sort of looks like. Sort of delicately sliding it over.
That's much better than me trying to explain this to you.
Yeah, I didn't do it at the time, but if I can get you to just see how good it is, because Aisling is trained, but obviously you didn't have much time. So if you can make me a dexterity roll, but add your proficiency
Okay.
To it, just to see how well it's done.
What's my proficiency now? 3. It's 11.
11. It's passable. I mean, Rock, you're like, okay, you've seen Aisling do much better than this, but it kind of gets the general sort of gist of what you're talking about across.
I just wanted to get the proportions across, I think. Like, there's no detail or anything.
So, she...
And then I'll just say to her, the puzzling and somewhat disturbing thing is that whatever process has happened is, it appears that this creature is now neither man nor dragon nor dragonborn, and there is almost an animalistic nature to it. We tried psychically and other ways to communicate with it, and it feels like there is someone in there, but anyway, basically we were told that they were found somewhere near New Dawn, and so I just wanted to ask if you had heard of any such things or creatures, or had any insights you may be able to share. As obviously we don't know a lot about your land. It's just something that I'm slightly sort of concerned about and would like to see if we can help or find out some information.
I see. Make me an insight check, three of you.
Oops, inside. Okay. 17 for me.
17,
15.
15.
An uncharacteristic 22.
Oh,
Wow.
Ooh!
So, Sadia doesn't know anything. She looks the creature over, and she feels like you can see that she's puzzled by this. What you do notice is Awin Neriro, one of the two guards. She seems to react and kind of look to it, and she seems to have this familiarity. But she doesn't say anything, possibly because it's not her place to say something.
And we all clocked that, or I wouldn't know if the others did, but I clocked it.
All of you clocked it. I think Eugene, you notice that there is definitely a desire to say something, but like a restriction, almost like this is information that I probably shouldn't share.
We're all sitting next to each other, yes?
Mm-hmm. You're on a small table, like the six of you are all sitting together.
I think Eugene just kind of shoots Rock a look.
Yeah, I think if Rock also kind of noticed it, that look from Eugene, and would be enough to kind of know that, like, to not second guess myself. So I will.
At this point, Ashley, you kind of see these two kind of clock this look that you've got used to the two of them having, and you're like, okay, well, I definitely saw it then.
So I think Rock is going to be sort of uncharacteristically direct. And I'm just going to say, perhaps if it's not out of place, I could ask your companions if they have any insight, or perhaps have heard of anything like this.
The keeper kind of glances at the two of them, and I think she picks up on the same thing you do at this point. She goes, well, clearly, I have no problem with that. These are our friends and allies, after all. Aisling is, in fact, a citizen of New Dawn. So if there is something the two of you can share, I would be glad to hear it. And there's almost this palpable relief as Awin just kind of settles back in her chair. She goes, I'm sorry, I didn't want to... I have to have official recognition before I can release certain matters of security around New Dawn. We did encounter creatures much like this, and she taps on it. 3 of them, in fact.
There's more?
There were 3 of them. There are not any more.
Oh.
They all died. They were attacking citizens on Cairne Island, where you grew up, Ashley.
Yeah.
Wait,
hold on. Is everyone all right on the island?
A couple of people were injured. The Fey Enclave was damaged in several places, but mostly they were fine. Nobody was killed.
Okay.
The Eternal Guardians were able to respond before anything desperately happened, and
what made them
people
attack?
are not known for not having defenses of their own.
Yeah, it's true. What were they just like beefing from the start? Like, what made them attack?
We don't know. They came out of nowhere like wild monsters. It looked like they were looking for something, but we couldn't ascertain as to what it could possibly be.
And you don't know where they came from?
No, not at all. But we sent the bodies back to New Doan for further study. We obviously noted that they were not dragonborn. Maybe some kind of half dragon that we hadn't seen before, which could indicate that a dragon has taken an interest in the island. But why Kayfree is it's apart from the small Fey enclave there's very little on the island.
And you don't know what they may have been looking for? Were they trying to get to something specific, or?
They were tearing up houses trying to look for people, and anybody who wasn't what they wanted, they struck down.
And was this the first time they'd been seen on that island?
Absolutely the first time. It's like they came out of nowhere, and then we've
Were
not
they
seen
dumped
anything
there?
since. Sorry?
Were they dumped there by someone?
We had thought it's a possibility. Sadia kind of is looking at this. There are rumours within magic circles, and she casts a glance at Eugene of some cultists using magic to bond themselves to draconic form. But we haven't seen anything openly. New Doan does not follow the 13 gods. Therefore, we do not follow the dragon gods either. We have our own pantheon that we worship. So we do not have a problem with dragon cultists, and those dragons we do encounter, we generally have quite a neutral, if not slightly friendly, relationship with.
I had heard of people trying to force a bond or a joining with a dragon of some sort, but it's the first time I've seen this, and to say it was disturbing is an understatement. But the creature that we encountered, although I think defensive rather than aggressive, definitely appears to be almost more confused and afraid than outwardly aggressive. So it's a disturbing idea that somebody may be doing this on purpose to people or to Dragonborn, or I have no idea. But could we ask that if you ever encounter anything like this again, that you let us know as soon as possible?
Celia sort of leans back in her chair, and she nods. Awen, if you hear of anything from any of the Eternal Guardians, you have my permission to send information directly to Rock and Aisling and Eugene, or it can come directly to me, and I will ensure the three of them have whatever information we have.
Thank you. That is very kind of you. I do appreciate the.
I have a small request in return. If you could talk to Julie Deschamps at some point and find out where precisely in New Dawn space they found this.
Of course. Well, I need to speak to Julie about some other things, so I will, of course, ask.
Of course. Well, that is a mystery, and to add to the list of mysteries I have to go and look into coming home at the moment.
Yeah. Yes, there seems to be quite a lot happening. But, at least there's no giant fey god at the
Not
moment.
anymore.
Well, that is the hope. That's why we need to make sure the Sky Shield stays where it is, just in case there are more of them.
Yes. Yes, indeed. And I'm sure we will.
I think, unless there's any sort of additional questions, most of the rest of your meal is like pleasantries and conversations. Like, she asks a lot of questions about your backgrounds, where you come from, your family histories, and things like that. Eugene, she kind of, she's not guarded around you at all. She's very open, but she kind of wants to know more about your sister and your father. She doesn't talk directly about your mother, almost, again, like you sort of ascertained, it's almost like she knows the woman quite well.
Mm-hmm.
Aisling, she's very happy to sort of hear about your adventures and what you've discovered, and I think at some point all the maps are brought out.
I have exactly no filter telling her everything she asks about.
And she listens with a genuine sort of like calm and patience and interest as well. She seems to be genuinely interested in a lot of what you've discovered.
Aisling's really enjoying that because very often people will tune out once she gets going, but she's noticing she's actually paying attention and she's like, oh my god, someone's listening. Okay.
I think if Eugene at any point looks like he's uncomfortable with all the questioning or anything like that, if there is any point where Eugene looks like he's kind of had enough, I think Rock will intentionally sort of interject with elaborate stories of what we've done and what we've encountered and things to kind of take it on a tangent away from that. Just as a kind of a way of kind of protecting Eugene a little bit, because I know that there is some connection there.
Amazing. I think the rest of there is a couple of moments like that, and I think she's canny enough to kind of step back on those moments and just like, that's obviously a pressing too far. I'll step back and just try something like.
I know how Eugene loves being the center of attention, so you know.
And the rest of your meal goes very well, and then she has to unfortunately go to a meeting, but she pays a tab and just says thanks you very much kindly for your time and promises to send forward any information that she finds moving forward.
And thank you. That's we really do appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
She also reiterates,
thanks for lunch.
Oh, my pleasure. And she reiterates, should you do find yourselves near the main city of New Dawn, do not forget that you have an open invitation to visit.
Oh, well, we'd love to see where Aisling has been and where she's from. So,
I can give you such a tour.
You can too. You've mapped most of the city, even some of the ancient guardians of the city do not know. So.
The weird bits, the bits I'm not allowed to be in, all the stuff is mapped.
And she departs, leaving you to finish up any chores that you have for the afternoon.
There's one thing I wanted to ask, just in terms of what is available where we are. Is there anywhere that does magical tattoos?
Love a magical tattoo.
I will have you roll me a survival check.
God.
Can I help because I've mapped loads of the town?
Yeah. You between the two, if you kind of mention this to Aisling, I think you can sort of say.
Okay, can I give Wayne?
I think yes. Rock would just at some point walking back. Rock would just go. I think I'd look really. I think it really kind of toughened my image up. I think if I had a tattoo, I think that would give me a bit of an edge. Like a bit more of a sort of steeled adventurer.
You would so suit one.
I think so too. It's nothing too kind of garish, obviously.
Aren't they very expensive though? I hear they're very expensive.
Well, I don't know. Perhaps we could ask, though. We could find out. Do you know where they do them, Aisling?
Can I sort of give Wayne advantage on the check?
You can.
By helping. Okay, cool.
So the first was a 16.
Okay.
Plus 2, so 18 is the first one.
Nice.
Okay.
I kid you not. Natural 20.
Yeah!
So that would be a 22.
So things that I didn't prepare for today.
Sorry.
So you sort of discussed together, and I think with Aisling's assistance, the two of you remember that you passed a shop actually in near the docks back when you were investigating the fog ring, but at the time you didn't click, called Morkic's Emporium of Mystical Arts. Which had a sort of very heavily tattooed half-orc sitting outside blowing a pipe. I think during the...
Oh, yes, I remember that part, that place. I walked past a little quicker when I saw the scary half-orc.
Ashley walked past a little slower.
So it is down on the outer edge of the docks near the fog ring. When you were doing your investigation into the murders, you didn't really have time to sort of stop. So I think you just kind of clocked it out of the corner of your eye and then carried on.
Cool. So I mean, I would like to go and just find out sort of how expensive they are and what they have, and how, maybe ask about how painful it is.
So
Aww.
you kind of wander down to the fog ring, and I think this is probably a good time for you to kind of do your additional shopping, like go past Loot's shop and get those spell scrolls and things like that. The bookshop is sort of vaguely on the way as you kind of go. You drop back out the outer edge of the fog ring. In fact, you use one of the sail barges, but not the river rats. One of the river rats, but not Garrick's family. One of the other families drops you off and doesn't charge you as a thank you for all the help you gave their families.
Legend.
You wander back into the dock district and you see it, and it's actually a very clean shop. One of the reasons it sort of stood out is incredibly clean, very well maintained, beautiful, like clay tiling has kind of like on a natural colours has kind of been put out, kind of giving this sort of like almost dragon scale feel in like oranges and browns and whites. And sitting outside is indeed a very burly half-orc, just slightly heavy set on, but very muscular. He is, despite the slight cooling of the air, is sitting outside, and he is covered from the ridge of his hair down all the way down, and every like visible part of his body in different tattoos, and some of them seem to glow with a slight light of their own. And as you approach, he's kind of puffing on this like clay pipe, and he just kind of nods as you kind of approach. He's a very intimidating looking fellow, but you kind of get this very gentle energy off of him as you get closer.
I think as we're kind of getting closer, I think at some point Rock kind of goes, "Oh, do you know what? I think maybe we just leave it for another day."
No. I'm going to grab some part of Rock's clothes and drag him.
Okay, well, I mean, we can ask. I'll just ask. But I mean, we have a lot to do today, so maybe,
This is one of the things that we have to do today.
Okay. And I think Rock will walk, sort of walk up to the half-orc that's sitting there, and
Afternoon?
Afternoon. I just wanted to inquire about possibly getting a magical tattoo.
You've come to the right place. Morkick is the right person for you.
Are you Morkick?
No, I'm not that clever or skilled. No, I am. I guess I'm security. I just make sure that the people coming in are above board and make sure that they pay. It's a bit of a rough area, as you know, and not everybody can afford more kicks. You're skilled, and they don't tend to cough up. So just making sure that they're right before they go in is my job.
Oh, well, of course. I mean, terrible when people do that. I mean, we would never do that. We're not that kind of people.
As he does that, you kind of see a couple of the tattoos on the side of his head. It's like these little tiny runes that kind of drifted around like this little semicircle that go just kind of glow ever so slightly, and the pupils of his eyes like light up with a bit of light for a second. But I can see that you're nice, honest people.
Well, of course, yes. Very, very nice and very honest. Very nice and honest people. Yes.
Yeah, I've got no choice. I'm always honest.
Sometimes to her detriment, but yes, that is true.
Leans up and he just raps on the window behind him, and there's a kerfuffle for a second, and then the door opens, and there's kind of like a smell of incense and herbs sort of comes out, and you hear a smaller voice going, "You enter."
Thanks.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Brom.
Brom. I'm Rock. I'm Rock. Thank you for your help, Brom. And I will step inside.
And you step inside, and you kind of greeted with this like slightly dusty. It needs a bit of a clean, like just a little bit of care. It's everything's in good condition, but just needs somebody to kind of come around and things like waiting room with leather and cloth, mismatched sofas and things like that, and lots of, as in modern tattoo parlors, lots of depictions of different art and things like that. And a general list of basic consultation fees, and then there is mystical tattoos available, price per commission, please inquire directly.
Right. I will just go up and say, good morning. Afternoon, sorry. I just wanted to, just a general quick inquiry about your mystical tattoos. Just should one be interested in having one at some point? Not necessarily today, it's just a general inquiry. How much are they?
And you realise at this point that you're still talking to an empty room.
Hello?
Eugene, I think he's gone a bit wrong.
But I thought he was in here.
Your voice went all weird when you were outside.
But no, it didn't.
What was with that?
Yeah, what was that about? You got a cold?
I don't know what. Yes, I do. No, I was just.
Oh, what?
I was just relating.
Hello, is anyone here?
I'm in the back. I'll be with you 1 second.
See, I thought he was here. I just heard the voice.
There's no one here, Rob.
I know. He said he's in the back. He's come. Stop harassing the man. He'll be here.
You having a cheese hallucination?
I don't think
Oh,
that's
maybe
right.
that's what happens. The cheese hallucinations now affect your friends.
Oh my god.
Uh-oh. Sorry about it.
So I'm going to just sort of try and look nonchalant and walk around and have a look at all the things on the walls, but clearly very nervous.
There are some.
Can I tell that Rock's really nervous?
Make an insight check versus either his deception or persuasion.
Yeah, what you feeling, Rock?
Are you trying to hide it, or are you just trying to persuade yourself?
No, I think definitely trying to persuade myself. I think Rock is surprised at how nervous he is. So
Well, I got a
persuasion.
16.
16?
I'm afraid I got a 22.
Oh, damn it.
Hard to read. He's being weird, but Rock's often weird. Like, Rock's a bit of a social chameleon, so maybe this is the bit that he does for these sorts of situations. So,
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on this one.
After a moment, there's kind of like a sort of a general rattle of stuff, and something falls over and you hear, "Oh, bugger!" And then it comes, "Oh, I'll sort that out."
Maybe we should go. Maybe we should leave.
No.
And this small humanoid with deep, furry, like a very furry face, like about halfling sort of size, but with these deep ridges of black fur and white fur, and a slightly fuzzy nose that kind of comes to a little black point, and sharp, long, vulpine features.
Is he like a little badger?
As you kind of see, comes around the edge. He's kind of wearing like a vest, and just poking out the top of these little tiny dragonfly wings. And you see a fairy.
Oh my god!
Hello, I'm Morkick. I am the resident artist for this studio. May I help you if you're looking for Alabit or Deirdre? They are not working today, but I can always book you in an appointment for a consultation at a later point.
Hello, my name is Rock. I was just...
Eugenie's doing it again. I think he is ill.
I was just going to inquire about your mystical tattoos.
Oh, excellent! Yes. What sort of spell were you? What sort of spell or enchantment were you looking to place upon yourself?
Well, I mean, what are the kind of costs range for these kind of tattoos?
Well, the Aether Stone involved in their creation is variable, so the cost will run from a couple of hundred gold for something small but of limited use, through to a couple of 100,000 gold for much more expensive and powerful enchantments.
Right. Right. Well, there was one that I'd kind of heard about, which is it allows one to kind of to sort of avoid things and move sort of through things unnoticed and stuff. I believe it was a ghost step tattoo.
Ah, yes, I am actually capable of doing those. The materials involved in that are quite rare, however, and I don't have everything I need right now. The ceiling price on that would be, let me just check my notes. Yes, hang on one second. It just kind of double checks a couple of bits and pieces. Kind of pulls out some like glistening stones from behind, and so these things that kind of emanate this sort of rich magic to them. Let's see now. 5,000 gold.
Right.
The nice thing about that, because of the way the enchantment works, I can do anything from a full sleeve to an whole upper body piece for the same price. All it would require is more time.
Right. Well, I mean, I think that sounds very interesting. It is a little expensive for me right now.
I mean, if you want something like an additional spell cantrip or something like that, those often run. I could do one of those, actually. There's a couple of those I can do for about 50 to 100 gold, depending on the cantrip. Low-level spells running from 3 to 500, 600 for like second circle and the like. So if there's a wizard among you that doesn't want to forget a spell, you can have it tattooed on you permanently. Kind of his eyes glance to Eugene ever so slightly, picking up on the attire.
I'm going to just try and be ever so funny, which obviously never pays off for Rock, and I'm just going to say I don't think he's ever forgotten a spell in his life.
Well, actually, there was one time, but never mind.
But yes, I can book you in for a consultation now. We can look at the designs and the like, or you can have some time to think about it, because I know that's a lot of coin for a lot of people.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't really have the coin for the ghost step tattoo. Although the others are intriguing. But although I'd have to give it some thought, though, as to what would be most useful. Because we're adventurers, and so I would want to make sure we.
Champions.
That is true. We are, in fact, the champions of Cloud's Cairne. So
excellent. That means you would have the coin to actually pay, which is always useful to know.
Yeah.
Well, not right now, I don't. But I mean, soon, perhaps, maybe. Well, let me put some, give it some thought, and then I will. I know where you are. I could come back and perhaps book a consultation. Sorry, and your name was?
Morkik. This is my.
Mork. Oh, you are in fact Morkik, right? Oh, great. But that's a wonderful place you have here. Very colourful.
Thank you. It's usually cleaner, but someone use a particular type of powder that gets everywhere, and we're still cleaning up after that.
Oh.
I have a question. The tattoos that contain a spell, is that for one use kind of thing, or is that?
No. I mean, with cantrips, you can just use them on will. Hang on one second. I will just check. Produced by a special need. you can cast a spell requiring no material components. The tattoo glows faintly while you cast the spell and for the spell's duration. Once the spell ends, the tattoo vanishes from your skin, so it is a one-use spell.
Okay.
Interesting. That actually is quite interesting. I mean, that could be really useful as sort of an emergency spell, like if you had that kind of tattoo for a
Well, yeah,
last
and if it's
resort
only
kind of thing.
50 gold, I could just cover myself in spells.
Oh my god.
I mean, it's 50 gold for cantrips.
I mean,
like more expensive.
Did the
more involved
cantrips
spells.
fade after you use them as well?
Actually, they would. So that's Chris getting it wrong. Yes, they would be one-use cantrip. Be like having a spell scroll put on your body, basically.
right. I mean, that's very interesting. I mean, you can get one now if you'd like, Eugene.
I thought you were going to get something, Rook.
Well, yeah, yes, but I don't have 5,000 gold pieces, do I?
How much are just the normal ones that don't do anything?
Oh, they'll run you in, depending on the size, 10 gold through to about 150 gold.
Cool.
If you just want
Okay.
a tattoo.
Ashling said some things.
You just want like a small thing. Like we can make an arrangement, varying depending on the size and the design.
I'll have a think about it.
Of course, yes. It's an important decision to make, and you want to make sure you're getting the right design for you.
Yeah, and I've got a lot of fur pretty much everywhere, so...
Honestly, not a problem. And he kind of shuffles back, and you can see that there are some tattoos underneath the fur on his arms.
Oh, cool! Okay, cool.
Where are you from, if you don't mind me asking? You're very striking.
Beautiful!
I was born in the enclave outside of Cairne, and I decided to come into the city to hawk some magical wares. And then I was apprenticed to the previous Morkic, and took his name when he passed on.
Oh, right. How interesting. Well, yes. Well, thank you very much for your time. I hope we didn't inconvenience you.
You have no idea how many people we get through that are just curious and then change their mind later. But if you do want, I am.
Oh, no, I mean, it's just the money. It's it's not. I'm not frightened or anything. It's just because I don't have the coin.
Of course, I completely understand.
Can I roll an insight check, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, is
Not
Rock trying to
frighten my ass.
persuade himself or everyone around him?
No, I think Rock is serious. I think he's less nervous about the tattoo now and more just kind of a bit stunned at the cost and feels a bit embarrassed because he didn't think it was going to be that much.
Is he less scared now that it's this cute little furry man as opposed to the big brutish half-orc?
Yeah, totally.
Well, I did get a nat 20 for a total of 27, so if you have any fear, I'm going to know about it.
Oh no, I mean, he's clearly a little nervous about it, but it's more that he's kind of embarrassed that he has to say, I don't have the money. Because he doesn't like sort of doing that. He's more just embarrassed that he brought you all in here, and now he's like, oh, I can't afford it. So yeah.
Ashling will try and save face for you and be like, Rock just needs to compile from several different accounts, you know, what it's like.
I think
so it's going to take a while for him to get all of that together, you know.
I think with that insight roll, what you do pick up is Morky is genuinely not worried. Like people obviously do come in, like both not expecting it to be quite as expensive as it is, not expecting the time. He's fully used to people coming in with curiosity and then leaving and choosing not to. So he's very, very chilled about it. He's really not bothered. The only person who's properly bothered about it is Rock.
Oh.
That's all right. Rock has something to say for. Right. Well, we should probably. I mean, we should probably go.
It was nice meeting you all.
Eugene, unless you want that tattoo, Eugene.
Well, it's hard to decide on a spell I would want right away.
Well,
I was just thinking about it. But How much would it be for a second level spell?
Oh, second level spell, depending on the spell, 600 to 900, 950, depending on what the spell was.
Oh, nothing. It's nothing.
Nothing.
What did you have a particular spell in mind?
I was thinking perhaps detect thoughts might be useful.
Yes. Obviously, now you can have this at any point on your body, but those ones have a tendency to work better with the material in the position of the place that they have. So I would recommend something around the temple or the back of the head if you want to hide it in your hair.
Yeah, my mum would absolutely kill me if I get to see me.
Well, here's the beauty is once you use the spell, the tattoo would fade, and so would the scarring.
Yeah, but what if I don't use it before?
Christmas
You
when I have to go
use
home.
it before you go
Well,
around.
before I have to go home and ask her about secret elven cities. Hey, it might be useful to have detect thoughts on hand for that conversation.
That's true.
But yes, if I can certainly petition for a copy of Detect Thoughts and get it positioned upon your person. Like, you don't have to put it there. It's just it transfers quicker and better.
Yeah, put it under your hat.
Yeah.
I mean, we would have to shave that lovely hair of yours to get to it, but
No. You could have a monk patch.
Oh, I'm sure Gristle would love that.
Strong look.
Rooney just said, "Can Rock borrow 5k from his sister to get a face tattoo?"
Yeah,
I love
Rich
that. I love.
family.
So, Camber, I know we haven't spoken in years, but
And how long does it take?
something like that. Not too big. Probably an afternoon, I would say. Like a couple of hours, maybe 3.
And the pain, like how much?
How good it
oh,
is.
I mean, don't worry about the pain.
Well, it varies depending on where it is. However, what I will say to you is this: it is on the. How good are you when people need to remove things like splinters?
Not great.
It's kind of like that on a repeat
Mm.
for that extended period of time.
For 3 hours.
On top of your head.
I mean, the nice thing is, like, eventually, with the way that the humanoid brain reacts, you will find that it doesn't hurt as much because you get used to it. You acclimatize. But I would say that's the level, but on a regular basis. On sharper areas, such as bony areas, it does hurt more.
You know what? Maybe I'll just learn the spell.
I mean, we could just buy you a spell
a few
scroll.
hours.
Surely.
Yeah. I'll just buy the spell
That's
scroll.
not
It's
as
fine.
hardcore though.
I mean, I'm
Because
not
the
sure
first
it's
thing you look at
hardcore.
me and think when you look at me is
Yeah.
hardcore.
I'm not sure if that's really
point.
what Eugene's going for as his general sort of,
Vibe.
vibe, as Aisling would say. Yes, I don't think hardcore is one of those descriptors.
Nah,
completely
good
understand.
point.
And although I wouldn't turn you away, I would much rather you made these decisions now before you sat in the chair.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yes, in the chair.
So you're not getting
also-
anything, Rock. We came all this
Well,
way. You wanted to come here.
I would like to get, but I think the ghost step tattoo is a little expensive. So for me right now, I'm not saying it's too expensive.
What about a
The
delicate
prices
little
are-
butterfly or something?
What?
Delicate little butterfly.
Why would I want a butterfly?
He just
Or some,
leaves the
like,
three of you to have
tri-
this
tribal.
conversation. He kind of goes
I'm-
clearing off
I'm-
whatever
I'm-
felt you.
I'm a dragonborn. Why would I want a butterfly?
I'm trying to peer pressure Rock into getting some random flash piece of shit tattoo.
Barbed wire.
Oh my god, Aisling totally is that friend.
Fully.
A tribal arm.
Yeah, a tribal like flame with like a wolf head. And like, but the wolf has like antlers, and then there's like barbed wire around the wolf.
Oh dear.
Why?
Too far. You went too far.
He was thinking about it.
I mean,
Yep.
we could have, we could get matching
Matching!
tattoos.
Okay.
What are we gonna get though?
What could we get?
I mean, we could get just maybe a small sort of a little sort of dragon symbol in honor of Pashkik.
That's a well good idea. Get it in different colours.
I mean, that is kind of a great idea.
I mean, you don't have to have it anywhere that's obviously visible to your mother.
Oh yeah, no.
No, Aisling, you're not
Trust
having
me,
it
you
in
do
the
not
middle
want
of
to
your
incur
forehead.
the wrath of my mother.
But yeah, I mean, we could always do that.
I love the fact that there's like this idea that you're going to have that conversation with your mother at some point. I'm looking forward to that role-play moment.
I am so sorry, Chris.
You will
I
absolutely blame it on Rock.
I'm so sorry. I've derailed the entire episode with an
I am living
tattoo
for this.
parlor.
This is absolutely brilliant.
Oh,
Yeah,
Rudy
Rudy
makes
has a good point.
We already have
Technically,
matching
we
tattoos.
already have a
We
symbol
do.
of
We
Pashkik
You
on us.
have the strange dragon symbol. That
Yeah,
is
we do
permanently
already
on
have
their
it.
skin.
But what if we did something to decorate the dragon symbol based on us? Like, what if I got like a circle of, I don't know, leaves or some shit?
or some shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
feels like
totally.
a very
Yeah,
well
done.
thought out plan.
Yeah. This is how I plan my tattoos in real life.
I mean, yeah, same.
Well, I think rather than just making a sort of rash decision, we should probably sort of think about what we would have. But I mean, now that we know that we could have a small matching tattoo or something, I quite like that idea. I mean, we could all come in together.
Every time you guys get drunk now, I'm going to have a wisdom check on this one.
Totally.
Yes! Yes.
Totally love that. Right. Thank you, Morkick.
My pleasure.
Thank
Lovely to
you.
meet you all. Take a card from the counter and just, so you remember me, and just let me know if I can help.
Thank you.
absolutely
That's
do
very,
take
very
part.
kind of you. I'm sure we'll be back. I'm sure.
And you make your way outside. Bram gives you a sort of stoic nod as all three of you.
Oh yeah. As soon as we see Bram, Rock's gonna go. Yeah. No, I think that's. Yeah. We'll definitely get that. Yeah.
What
Great.
the full face sleeve and then full back? Yeah, that one.
Yeah. No, I think
Yeah,
that
yeah.
sounds great. I mean, I don't mind if it takes a day. That's fine.
No, like normal people would like pass out from pain, but we know you, Rock. You'll be able to take it.
He's just shaking his head ever so
Now Rock is a bit sort of perturbed about why Aisling.
I'm going along with it because
Yeah,
I knew you
why?
were a bit nervous.
Right, come on. Okay, enough of that. Let's. Anything else we have to do?
Supplies are being
Nah.
taken care of by Rebecca. You remember from your just general outside conversation, and the cart will be delivered to you all tomorrow morning.
Oh, by the way, we haven't really talked about this. Wait. A ship? A sky ship?
I know. We get one. Wait, does anyone know how to drive?
Well, I read a book about sky ships one time.
I've been on
Okay.
many sky ships. I'm perfectly capable of. But I've never actually
Piloting
steered. I mean, I've kind of.
Okay, so no one knows how to drive.
Well, no, I've worked on a sky ship. I mean, I wasn't the only one on board, obviously.
Okay, so no one knows how to drive.
But I don't think we'll have to drive it ourselves. They did say
I
there would
assumed
be
they
a
were
crew.
going to give us a crew.
You might need to
Did we
figure out-
get a crew?
What?
Did we get a crew?
Well, I think there may be some people to help. I mean, I'm sure they'll help us get started anyway. I'm sure it'll be fine.
I hope so.
Kids will be fine. Also, I mean, we haven't even talked about what we're going to call it.
Oh god, how long it took you guys to come up with a party name?
God.
Right.
I vote we don't go with whatever Ashling's about to suggest.
And I vetoed the second thing she says too.
No! I feel very attacked right now.
Anyway.
Rock, I did have a thought while we were at lunch.
Yes.
Perhaps we could visit Astric and see if she has any knowledge on this race of dragon human people.
I mean, yes. I mean, I'm happy to get any help we could get. To be honest.
She does seem to know an awful lot about an awful lot of things, and
It's almost like she spends
She
the
was-
whole day reading all the books in her wonderful shop.
Oh, what a nerd.
she was quite willing to be discreet when I was talking to her previously.
You mean
were
when you
being
accidentally
discreet
reveal
about?
that you have one of the key artifacts to a possible lost throne of the gods?
I mean, maybe.
I know what you mean.
What exactly were you being discreet about that you had to keep secret?
Well, I went there, didn't I, when we were trying to find out more about, Ashling's friend.
Hello, I heard my name.
Actually, I didn't.
Did you? I didn't. Oh, they're talking about you.
They are
Oh,
talking
right, okay.
about me, Ashley. Yes. What were they doing? Were they trying to be surreptitious? I like it when they're surreptitious.
Right, sleeky in it.
What's sneaky?
Oh
She's-
shit, that was out. I meant that to be inside brain. Don't worry about it. As you were.
You should have a flag you hold up or something, so we know when you're talking to us and when you're talking to.
Go like this.
Oh god!
I've got a really good idea. Why don't you pick up a random stone, and you can hold it to your ear like it's a sending stone every time you talk to me.
No.
Okay. Dungeon bees it is.
Anyway, I just thought maybe it would
yes,
be a source of information.
I think that's a very good idea. No, I think that's a very good idea. I mean, we don't have to do that now, but I do think it's a very good idea. Where was her shop again?
I think you had already been there on your way down to the tattoo.
Yeah, 'cause I think didn't I pop in there to get the maps and stuff?
You went,
Oh,
maps
yeah.
and stuff.
Oh.
You've been there once today. Whether you
We can
two
go back.
and Rock were busy. I mean, you two might have gone to Loot Shop whilst Aisling did that and meet up afterwards. So
That's true. Yeah. Okay. Well, then I'll be like, oh yeah, I was just there. Should we? I'll take you. We'll go.
Sure.
Cool. I guess we'll head back. Head back to Fantasy Waterstones.
it's a little different to Waterstones.
Sorry, Fantasy Book Club for the
Yeah.
knowledge people.
You kind of make your way back up, maybe slightly on your way home, to be fair, from here, and you kind of make back. It's getting late in the day, and she's kind of pulling in the outside bits, and she oh, hello, dears. How can I help?
Hi again.
I'm so sorry. I see you're sort of packing up. I hope we're
That's
not.
fine. I was going to sneak away early, but it's okay. My daughter is with Luke today, so come in. I do not have to rush anywhere, and if I can help you kids and maybe sell you some lovely manuscripts, that would be good. Oh, by the way, she would have charged you 10 silver for 1 gold, basically, for the copying.
Thank you.
Well, we just wanted to know if you had ever heard about something. Anyway, and I'll just explain to her what the whole story was again. I'm not going to run through it again, but
Just real quick, that's heartbreaking because I was on 1069 and now I'm not on a funny number. So
oh,
I'm so sorry. But she does need to make some coin off of you guys coming and doing research.
Ruined it.
Yeah,
Ruined it.
she's a businesswoman, not a library. She kind of thinks about it and goes, there are a couple of things I might be able to help you with. Hang on 1 second. Eugene, over there's some scriptures on dragons and Dragon Ball that might have something that might be interesting to you. Aisling, over there, you see the big red wood book.
Yeah.
with it's monsters and mythology. Polygon seems like it'd be more interesting to you.
Got
and
pictures in it.
You Geeks and Devil, you can get those 2 tomes that are going to take me a long time to climb up and get. The 2 green-bound ones with the gold leaf down. That is.
Well, I mean, flattery will get you everywhere, and I'll get them down for her. And these are.
These are the sort of places I expect to find stuff about what you're talking about. Now, obviously, these are collector's items, so I'm not expecting you to buy them. But what I'll do is I'll probably charge you maybe a gold between you to kind of write down what you need to just for the time, if that's okay.
Oh, of course, I'll immediately give her a gold.
Yeah. So all of you can make a history check as you kind of do some research and things.
I need to take 1 whole gold off.
Ooh.
History.
That's a happy Eugene.
Oh.
Eugene rolled a 19 for a 26 total.
Oh.
Wow. Actually, that's not bad. 16.
16. Yeah.
16 as well.
Cool. So there's not a lot of new information that Aisling and Rock you find, but you do confirm what you already know, that there is stories and links to sort of these slightly draconic monsters with different names that are linked to powerful dragons who have tried to create armies, or the different dragon cults over the centuries who have tried and imbibed or enforced magic upon them. The general term that the 2 of you get is draconian. Is the general sort of catch-all term for creatures like this.
And is the general sort of consensus or the general story behind it that this has been done by dragons to create an army, or
both? Humans doing it to themselves, humanoids doing it to themselves, humanoids doing it to other humanoids, dragons doing it to humanoids as well. Those are the 3 tiers which you find. Eugene, you find that there are several different types that you can sort of identify. Some of them have like broad wings, like some half dragons do. Some of them are much bigger and bulkier, like warriors. Some of them even resemble dragons with like humanoid faces and the like. Most of this is conjecture or reports of like quelling, and it seems to have one of those things that the further you look back in history, the more common it seems. Like dragons. So I think, Eugene, with that role, what you hypothesize is that dragons, for a society that have just found themselves in the sky, would have been a massively appealing source of power and consideration, and it would have been the sort of thing that they were like, oh, they can fly, they have mastery of the sky, we want a bit of that. So some people initially bound themselves to dragons, and dragons, like people, some of them are fine, like Parshkick and Ironaut, and others of them are less have more ulterior motives. Like most dragons have their own goals, but some of them are a little more less moral about how they achieve those goals than others. And to particularly younger dragons, you're a source of food or resources as a people, which is one of the reasons that you had the problem with the Terror Dragon in the Empire in the first place. It was a dragon that thought it had the right to rule and needed to be put down because it was causing a lot of trouble. As you get closer to modern, this practice has disappeared as the churches have re-established places of worship, as society has melded together, and these have all but vanished from the historical record as you get closer up to date. And it's just kind of rumoured, like this sort of, some people hypothesize that maybe these things didn't exist at all, and actually what it is dragons and dragonborns being written from the perspective of humans or elves or dwarfs who wanted to vilify, particularly those from what is now the Empire, who had been quite aggressive at times. Some people have speculated that actually they're just different types of lizard folk. But you know from what Aisling and Rock described, that is clearly not the case.
And do I see anywhere any kind of information about how this is done?
No, but that kind of makes sense to you because it is the sort of thing that if there were rituals and things, particularly once the churches had re-established themselves, they would have tried to expunge that knowledge wherever they could.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Cool. So that is what the three of you find out about these Draconics, and you can now call them Draconians.
Cool.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
Cool. Ash finds a couple of different bits and pieces and puts them in front of you. Nothing that is massively helpful, but it over what you're finding in these much older books. But she's like, it's a curious one. Obviously, if anything comes past my doorstep, I'll send a message to your mansion. But
Please.
I don't think there's anything in particular.
Well, I mean, this has been very helpful nonetheless. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks. Again.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, the new semester starts soon, so if there are any spell books that you want, you can put in a request, any sort of schools of magic. I do get a few things through here from retired wizards or wizards who are moving on to different things.
Well, if you ever get conjuration spell books, I would happily have them.
I will keep a special eye out for conjuration. She kind of makes a little note in one of her ledgers. She's got one of those wonderful filing systems whereby, to the rest of you, it's complete nonsense, but she clearly knows exactly where everything is in the shop.
You just described my studio.
Can relate. Yeah. My studio.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just before we leave, I think Eugene would kind of wait for Rock and Aisling to leave the shop and make some kind of excuse that he forgot something. Ash, I was wondering, do you have any books about tarot cards?
Oh, she says, a couple. Decks of Fate. There was something about, what was it called? A magical deck that apparently can change the fate of the universe. It's something called the Deck of Many Things. People talk about it on a regular basis, but I don't think
that second thing. I'm interested in that.
Okay, so she pulls down a couple of things. Deck of Reflection is the most commonly used one.
Okay.
And there's a Deck of Many Things. There's something called a Deck of Fates, but I think that's for board housewives rather than proper magic. But she kind of plonks the Deck of Reflections book on a small description of how some diviners can use this deck to kind of peer into the future and the past and kind of help see the path of different people's fates and things.
Mm-hmm.
It's priced at 1 silver and 4 copper.
I will take it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's more theoretical than practical, so you're not going to be able to learn how to.
Oh yeah, I don't want to learn how to do it. I want to learn what the cards mean.
Yeah, and there are listed. Well, cool. We can do a research roll on that, but it kind of, from your quick scan, it's listed 78 cards.
Okay.
We can go through some of them later. What I will do is I might send you my document offline so you can read through them yourselves.
Amazing.
Smart, Eugene. Smart.
Cool. Do not give Aisling this deck. I don't
Mm-mm.
know. Like, the deck of reflection is probably safe even
I
in
think
Ashling's
they
hands.
mean the deck of many
Deck
things.
of many things.
Dear gods, no.
We would never
Uh-uh.
give to Ashling willingly.
No.
Or would I?
Oh god. Oh god.
No.
I play her and I'm worried.
Awesome. So, is there anything else you want to achieve during this day?
I don't.
The only thing I would like to do is just send a message to the magpies.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes, you actually know where one of their old hideouts used to be, and it's not far from where you were in the fostering.
Yeah, I would just literally leave a note or give a note to them just to say, need to have a chat about someone we're looking for. Please get in touch when you can, and I will leave our address so that they can get in touch with me. That's it.
When you eventually get home, the three of you, it is getting towards dark, and there is a small package left on the step.
A package.
I cast chatter.
No!
No? Oh.
My kebab! I ordered a kebab!
Ordered a kebab.
Actually got delivery on the way home.
Dear.
No!
It's from Delivernull.
Ah! Oh no.
Dear. Kobold Eats is just unreliable.
Yeah.
They're canon
Yeah,
now.
'cause the kobold usually eats it.
They're a little erratic, but yeah.
There is a small package, and as you, I don't know who wants to pick it up as you kind of all arrive at the same sort of time.
Well, I shall poke it with my...
Might run towards it, but I feel like maybe one of her compatriots will stop her from doing that.
Well, no, I'm just going to poke it and just say, is anyone expecting a package?
There is a label
Huh?
on it.
What
Ashley?
is it for?
It is to Ashling. In
Oh.
a very deliberately obscure sort of blockish type, so you can't sort of really discern who it's from.
Okay. Yeah, wasn't expecting anything. But I guess that's for me.
Well, it looks like it's been written by a 4-year-old, so I have no idea.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what my handwriting looks like. So
No, it doesn't. I've seen your handwriting. Your maps are perfectly legible.
the maps are great. The labels are shit. Okay.
Fair
let's,
enough. Anyway,
Open it. Open it.
Okay. Well, let's take it inside first. Take it inside. We'll go
well,
in the
shake
dining
it
room
and
or
see
something.
if you hear what if
What if
it
it's
rattles.
breakable?
It starts ticking. No, I'm joking.
Oh god.
No, it kind of, there's a slight jostle or something moving inside, but nothing rattling or anything.
How big is it?
It's probably about this big.
Okay.
It kind of, you can feel like
I'm gonna take it.
Underneath the sort of like the fabric wrapping, there's like a wooden box.
It's a frog.
Oh god, another one.
In a box.
Oh god. All right. I'm gonna take it
It's
inside
cheese.
and sit it on the.
It's
Oh yes. I'm gonna take it inside, sit it on the dining table, and yeah, open it.
Well, go on, open it up.
Open it.
Okay.
Inside is a like a redwood box, lacquered with like gentle gold, like bronzed scroll work. It's very pretty.
Better not be another. I'm at capacity. Like, better not be another one.
Another what?
Demon in my brain.
But did you get the last one through in the mail?
No, I just
No,
sort of
from a
found it.
box.
Yeah.
But yes, but this.
I mean,
just
I
all
would never be seeing something quite that garish, but there we go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to sort of explode or turn into
I don't know.
something, is it? Okay.
Let's find out.
You're the
I'm
one
just gonna.
with magic spells. What do you want to do with it?
Absolutely.
I'm
nothing.
not checking shit.
You're just going to open it.
Yeah.
As soon as she opens it, I just want to wait till she's got it open a little bit, and I'm just going to go behind her.
Where is Rock standing?
Oh,
Directly
I've
behind you.
I've stepped back with Eugene behind you, so
If you're standing behind me, I will donkey kick.
Yeah, I was going to say beware the
Please make an unarmed attack.
Okay.
fair enough.
I'm staying well out of this.
It's only an 8.
No, I think that's below Rock's armor class. I think
It
he,
is,
he managed to
thankfully.
dodge out the way, expecting it.
You are lucky.
I know. The last thing I need right now is a hoof to the groin.
All right. Well, I know that you've missed, and I'll just like chuck the wrapping at you. It's like, what the hell was that? Don't do that.
Oh, loosen up. It's just anyway. What's in it?
Inside the box is like sealed with this gentle, deep blue, almost black velvet, which is
It's a withered hand.
Nope.
Yeah, and an eye. Is
Which looks-
inside it is a smaller package wrapped in like a nice thick brown paper with a like string and a note folded over.
Oh, for God's sake, what is it? Some kind of sort of descending size package thing?
I don't know. What's the note say?
You lift the note up and it's just folded over and it says, Aisling, you have impressed upon us. We would like to see you reach your potential. Show us what you can do. It's not marked by anybody.
A mystery.
Okay.
Who's it from? Who did you impress?
I don't know if I've impressed anyone ever.
But that's
alright.
not true. Anyway, so what's in the other package within the package?
Okay. I'll open the little brown one.
So you open the little bound one, and inside you find a small, misshaped piece of alabaster stone.
Oh!
Who's that from?
And I would like you all to make me a wisdom saving throw as Ashley puts her
You know
hand
I'm no
on it.
good at these, Chris.
Oh my
Shit.
Oh.
Would this be a magical effect I'm saving for?
It does not count as a magical effect, I'm
Shit.
afraid.
Okay.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
13.
13, okay.
11.
Okay,
23.
okay. All of you immediately fall asleep as Aisling grabs hold of the stone.
I can't fall asleep though. I've got the aspect of the moon.
Still
It's
happens.
impossible. But it's
When-
impossible.
When you awaken, you find the three of you standing in a strange land,
Ah.
covered by ash and shadows.
Wait, all of us?
All of you.
Oh shit! Sorry, lads.
And that is where
No!
Oh
No.
my god.
Oh my god, talk about whiplash. We just like
Oh,
Jesus.
hung
Christ.
around shopping for an hour and then it's
We
like,
just-
oh, all of a sudden.
we just had a girls' day out, and now all of a sudden we're in hell.
I mean, if I'd known we were going to get thrown off to some other land, I would have at least had my nails done. Oh my god.
Dear.
Ashley,
Shit.
This
I am
has
going to
been-
confiscate that box, I swear to God.
Yeah, we should have got that tattoo before we die.
Yeah.
Before we get
Right.
sent to a demon spawn realm.
Hey, it's not that bad.
This has
Last
been
time we
fun.
magically turned up somewhere, we were there for 6 months.
It's true.
Yeah. And had to fight an elder god that nearly destroyed the sky shield.
This is all right.
Uh,
At least
I did
one
get
of
a
you has
boyfriend.
been here before.
Yeah, I know where we are.
It's fine.
Great.
This has been a lot of fun. Thank you very much for the details
Yeah.
of the tattoo shop. I love making up weird
I'm
magic
sorry
shops
about
on the
that.
fly. Yeah, it's fine. It's good. I now have something else in Cairne that you guys can refer to in the future.
Indeed.
hmm
That's how the bookshop came about in the first place. So.
Oh yeah, come on.
Dear. So, lots of mysteries, a few answers, some more questions.
Yeah.
we are not here next week, unfortunately. So you're going to have to wait 2 weeks for this.
No.
Unfortunately, one of us is going to be on a boat in the middle of nowhere, so it's going to be very difficult for them to dial in. But that's okay. 'cause it gives me-
Terrorizing all the Tories.
I mean, they could make it F.
It's okay because it gives me an extra week to mess around and see what I can put in the realm of dust and shadows now that you have
Woo!
arrived. Officially, you've only got 4 puzzle pieces to find now.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, if we meet Alabaster, that'd be amazing. My guess is he's like 3 foot tall.
That'd be pretty much in canon with this game, wouldn't it? Like, seems really big and powerful, actually tiny little creature. So, we have been some other heroes. This has been a lot of fun. I'm going to let my cohorts tell you where you can find them and what they've got coming up and what they've been doing as well, because I think there's a little bit of news that we can share.
A new agent, a new shop.
I think that Wayne's implying that perhaps once Theo should go first.
Yes.
No, but there's a rule
Uh-oh.
against this.
I know, but this is a very, very special occasion. A very, very special occasion. So,
I don't know what to say.
well, do you want me to go to Wayne first, and then you can collect your thoughts and go second?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. Wayne. You tried,
Sorry.
but you are going.
That's fine. I have the least news to tell. Yes, you can find me everywhere on the internet as WayneFic01 or at my website, which is waynefic.com, where there's nothing particularly exciting happening right now, but there are plans afoot. So, do sign up for my newsletter and my socials if you would like to. Just a thank you to everybody for joining us today and for making it so much fun to do this for you. And that's pretty much it for me.
That's absolutely brilliant. Well, don't forget, I mean, it is worth keeping an eye on Wayne's stuff because he has just had back a load of lovely photos from his colleague, and I'm really excited to see them coming out into the world so you can all see his beautiful self out and about as he was in the wilds of America for a bit. There's some wonderful photos coming, so I'm excited.
Well, that's after I spent 3 weeks photoshopping everything. But it's perfectly natural, I swear. Anyway.
Theo.
Hello. Will I ever be? I never know.
Any news?
I do have news. I am now officially represented by Darley Anderson Illustration Agency. And
Hell yeah, Theo!
And
I cannot tell you too many specifics, but I may or may not be working on writing a graphic novel. But I probably can't tell you much more.
not yet.
No.
Oh!
NDAs.
NDAs.
But it's going to be amazing.
Technically not yet. I'm not under an NDA yet, but also better.
Self-imposed NDA. Self-imposed NDA.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. But yes, we're very proud of you.
Thank
Hell yes, we're proud of you.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Also quite overwhelming. The past few weeks have been absolutely wild, and I'm not really even sure that it actually happened. But
You earned it.
We're just powering through.
You did earn it. You deserve it. We're all massively proud of you, and we know that you are
Super
absolutely
proud.
going to kick ass. So,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you ever kind of get that doubt, just ask anybody in this community, and we will lift you up.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I do have a
Make
lot
you
of
feel-
people around me, including these people shouting at me quite
Make
often.
you feel really uncomfortable with compliments about how great you are.
Yeah.
Yay! That's the best thing we can do. Charlie also has some news.
Oh yeah. I've opened a little side hustle clothes shop online, which is called Pigeon Clothing, PIJIN. So not little jumpers for pigeons, despite that being adorable.
I'm out. I don't want to. No,
Oh,
No!
yeah, there was a massive misunderstanding here.
I'm sorry. That's coming in the next season's collection. Don't worry.
You can find those in the charity
Yes.
shop.
Thank you, Nikki, in the chat. Pigeon. And it's all thrifted clothing that I have personally hand painted weird shit onto.
They look beautiful.
It's
They
very
are
cool.
so cool. You definitely
Yeah.
have to go check it out right now.
Yeah, got a lot of folklory things, a lot of cute little affirmation-y things. Yeah, it's just I was basically going around clothes shops and charity shops and thinking these are all really nice items, but they're kind of boring. And I am a huge maximalist, so I was like, I'm gonna cover it in stuff.
Yay.
So
They're
now
very
I
cool.
have a bunch of things on pigeonclothing.com, which is just hand painted, thrifted, sustainable fashion, goofy things. So yeah, give it a little look.
That'd be amazing. Where can I find you for other stuff as well?
Oh yeah, I do other things.
You do.
CharlieVince.com is my illustration. My main thing is illustration.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm also like a successful illustrator.
That's the other thing. I've also got an exciting book project on the go, which is actually under an NDA, so I can't actually say a fucking thing about it.
But it may or
hopefully
not
I'll
be
able
about
to-
pigeons in jumpers.
pigeons. In...
I'm not saying it is.
Oh, that's
Wait,
so
that's what I write in my
cute.
book about.
Oh my god, this is so awkward. One of us is going to have to change.
Because you've got the same pigeon jumper on?
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you
But
so much.
yeah, so that's what's a haps at the moment. Also, hi mum, love you mum. Thank you
Hi,
for
Charlie's
letting
mum.
me.
Hi, Charlie's mum.
Also, Charlie's mum loved the hair.
Yes.
it's
Oh, right?
fabulous, my dear.
Oh my god,
I
Charlie's mum has
finally
the coolest pink
finally
hair.
convinced my mum to let me dye her hair because she's had like pastel pink hair for a while, and I was like, let me put manic panic in it. And now it's not pastel pink anymore. Love you,
awesome.
mum. Thank
Looks
you.
amazing. Look, we really impressed. We saw the photos. Sorry about that, but we're also massively impressed. So we're really pleased for you.
She looks wicked.
I guess that leaves me to wrap things up, doesn't it? You can find all my stuff chrismepham.com/links, which also includes stuff to the wonderful socials that we put together between the four of us for this stream. A link to my personal Twitter and Instagram, where you can follow me being geeky and doing all sorts of character art and that. If you do like the character art you find there and you think, hey, I'd like one of my characters done in that way, my commission slots are open at the moment. Just drop me a DM and I will happily talk through what we can do for you and what we can get created for you. Aside from that, you must check out our amazing friends at Wicked Game. Their Divisia game is absolutely brilliant. It's high drama and high action.
It's quite tense.
Yeah, inside a magic school, and Lydia, who was in the chat earlier, has masterfully crafted everyone's backstories together so that everyone is currently loving it and hating each other at the same time. It's wonderful, beautiful writing, and I've been so impressed by what
It's so good.
It's really cool. Also, coming very soon is the second season of our wonderful friends at Dice and a Slice, and if you do follow them, or if you don't, you really should. They just put a recap of their entire first season up, so you can catch up with the highlights and kind of get yourself ready and sort of have a general understanding of the world and what's happened to those wonderful characters before the second season starts, and you're dropped
That's
into
a great idea.
a whole new level of chaos. Yeah, it's really good. Other than that, just to repeat that we won't be here next week. We will be back in 2 weeks' time. Just to let you know. It gives me some more time to actually plot out what we're doing next.
We're coming back and having a nice, pleasant cup of tea.
You had your pleasant cup of tea this week. Now you get to fight things.
Oh God.
This has been amazing fun. We love you all. Big love to everybody in the chat. We really do appreciate you coming down and supporting us. We have been Some Other Heroes. We will see you in 2 weeks. Take care of each other. We love you lots.